I've seen more in a night than you've seen in your life. Make sure you tune into From a Third Eye View, hosted by me, JV and Flawless. We discuss everything Premier League every Monday, 7 till 9.
Yes, people, welcome to another edition of From a Third Eye View on Pi Radio, hosted by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note, and I'm joined by my two fellow co-hosts, JV and Welcome Back Stroke from last week. And we're also joined by a very, very, very special guest, United Stand regular, one of the most popular guys in this YouTube footballing streets, the man himself, Adam Matic. Adam, welcome to the show.
Cheers, mate.
Welcome
Cheers.
to
Good
the
to
show.
be here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show, man.
It's good to have you here live in the flesh, because last time we had you on, it was via StreamYard, so we was online. So it's good to have you here on the show.
Good to be here, mate.
Good
Good to be here.
But,
no digital problems or anything like that. It's live in the flesh.
See that? And that's why we have people here.
Can I just say,
live in
I need
stress.
to address something. Like, he's ridiculously tall in real
Yeah,
life.
he
Like,
is.
Yeah, you know what?
like for those of you that only watch the videos, it's deceiving, let me tell you.
No, I totally get the Matic comparisons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Come on. Seriously, I could tell you that I'm same size, 6'4". Yeah, our daughter has the same birthday. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just like uncanny. I just went along with it for a joke, and then all this started happening after I went along. So it's mental. It is, but I've had to roll with it now. It's stuck.
Nah, it's stuck, but it's a good thing still. It is a good thing. Like, that's what it is. Like, because it helps, it adds to the brand. Now, Adam Matic, like, that's why I introduced you as Adam Matic. That's how people know you. Like, rather than just Adam, it's like Adam Matic. People,
Instagram,
and people don't go,
Twitter,
who? People are like, yeah, Adam Matic, it makes sense. But yeah, Georgiev says big up people and to the special guest. Salute to Georgiev. Salute to everybody who is locked in as well. So, where to start? Adam, since you are the special guest, where would you like to start? What topic?
There's only one place to start, wearing this shirt, and obviously we've got our man Donny, haven't we?
Yeah,
I didn't even see it coming. It happened that quick. That was what was a bit of a surprise.
Yes, expeditiously it happened, and that, to me, was the best part about it. JV, what are your thoughts on it? Go more in depth. I know you got a lot to say on it.
You know what? I was shocked, and
True.
I'm shocked because it wasn't very long-winded. We've not, done that thing where we tell everyone first we want him, let the whole world know we want him first, and then we go and tell the club we want him.
Yeah.
Before we put in an offer, you know what I mean? I think we've kind of gone in and done the business properly.
Yes.
So yeah, I am just wanting to see him, not even holding the shirt. I want to see him at Carrington running around with the rest of the lads. That's all I want to see now.
That's when you believe it. Because, it is done. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano stated, once he says, here we go, that seems to now be the cosign for any transfer.
I know.
Like, he literally says, here we go, and everything, and nobody doubts him whatsoever. Yeah,
But
go on.
Man United would be the only club to destroy his 100% record of here we goes. You know what I mean?
They would be the one.
It would be us in our current transfer state. So I just want to see it over the line to the point where it's concrete. Do you know what I mean? But it's a very good move.
Yes.
One thing, I'll get into this in a bit. I just want to know where everyone thinks he'll fit in.
Ooh, that's a good question. Adam, obviously, like I say, you watch United, obviously, before lockdown, like week in, week out. So where do you see him fitting in? And what do you think of him as a player as well?
He's tenacious. He likes to tackle. His rating on tackles is good. Everyone's looking at his creativity. He gets up and down the pitch. So you would say he's an 8, number 8 style player. But obviously, we have an abundance of creativity right now in that position. So it's a good question. For me, it answers the one issue that we've always had, which is strength in depth. You know what I mean? We cannot burn out Pogba. We can't burn out Bruno. He's going to come in, and he has to accept that he's coming. If he wanted to get to any top-table club, Van der Beek, he'd have known he's going to have to spend some time on the bench as well. True. As simple as. When you're in the Champions League, it's not a given. He goes to anyone up there. If he goes to Barcelona, where he was linked with, he ain't getting straight in that team. He ain't getting straight in any of the other big clubs. He's going to have to accept that he's got a role to play. Yeah. And this is down to Ollie now, because he's going to have to change the system as well. Yeah. The strict one holding midfielder with someone just off him may not work, because Van der Beek, I don't think...
You don't think he's a 6?
I don't think he's going to sit. Okay. He ain't going to sit. He's not. He's not got that. He's got too much energy. He likes to get up and down the pitch. You have to utilise that more. Yeah. For me, it's all about what Ollie does with the systems. There has to be a way. You're going to have games where you could play all three of them for me. Yeah. There's going to be games when Matic has to play. Yes. And he may have to go on the bench. One of them has to go on the bench. Yeah. Like when we didn't have Bruno, We didn't have Pogba fit this season. We beat the likes of City. You know what I mean? We beat Chelsea without all these players because we had that system where we had the holding player who's calm on the ball, who can then feed what we have got, which is that attack, which is the best part of our game. So there's going to be games when we come up against that low block. Maybe that's the time when all three come in and play, and we start defending from the front and high press.
That's definitely an option. Like, I believe that. Like you said, obviously there'll be certain games where Matic needs to come in. If United say are going away to the Etihad or away at Anfield, or is Europe and they're away at Real
Champions
Madrid,
League.
Barcelona, Bayern Munich, you're not going to play all three. But if you're at home to the lesser side, you're at home to Crystal Palace, for instance, you don't
And West
necessarily
Brom.
need a West Brom. You don't necessarily need a holding midfielder. Like, so you could literally play all three, because to be honest, with those three, you can dominate the ball anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how defensively sound you are. When if you dominate the ball, the other team can't score. That's how I look at it a lot of times. Stroll, from the only like non-United fan perspective here, what are your thoughts on the Donny van de Beek signing, and what do you think of him as a player as well?
I think it's a great signing, and you know me, I'm not a biased fan. Like, although I support Liverpool,
That's very
like
true,
I'll
actually.
always give United the flowers. For me, I grew up in Manchester when United were dominating everything, so I've got that ultimate respect for United. I think it's a signing that Manchester United need first and foremost. Squad depth for me is a big thing with Manchester United, and that is the one thing which will, if you didn't have started to recruit players of this ilk that can improve your squad, would have hindered you for the next 2-3 years. Van der Beek, though, he's one of them. He was part of that Ajax special team that got to the Europa League final, then he went through and did really well in the Champions League, and Frankie de Jong was there. He didn't really get the shine that he deserved because of Frankie de Jong. For me, he was always a better player than Frankie de Jong. He had more in his arsenal. He can do everything. He can tackle. He can go forward. He can defend. He's like Adam said, his tackling stats, I was reading him before I came to yours, it's just absolutely astounding for a player that you wouldn't really link, because like everyone looks at his creativity, but you don't look at what he does off the ball, and that's what Manchester need. That's what you need, especially when you're at home to a team like at Burnley, for example, that are gonna sit back or just gonna try and hoof the ball long and try and make it a long game. Like, he's absolutely perfect, and I think he'll fit well into the system. Do I want United to strengthen? No, but that's just me. That's just me being honest.
Yeah,
but
I rate that.
especially with a player like this. But yeah, it's a phenomenal signing.
I get what you're saying, definitely. And with that being said, because I didn't know until you both brought it up about his defensive stats, maybe that's something Ollie's looked at, and maybe he can not always play as a 6, but he could play slightly more withdrawn at times. So if he's this good defensively and he's energetic, he could do a Kante-esque role for Manchester United, because I really want to see United free up Pogba. Like, I think I've said it before on air, on here, on other platforms I've been on. What United do with Pogba is a crime. There's no way he should be playing as a 6.
Well,
like, he plays far too deep.
Here's my take on it. I think this may ultimately be us a sign that we might not be getting a winger, and I think this might be a sign of us going for a diamond. You know.
And two up top.
Elaborate on that. Go on.
So
Elaborate on it.
When I say diamond, I mean it might look like a diamond, or it could look as, you know, like a 4-1-3-2, where you've got the 3 creative players narrow, and they can all, so they've got a bit of free license. Do you get what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And then with him, we know Pogba can do the box to box. We know he can do the box to box. Donny can do the box to box, and we also know Bruno can do that as well.
Yeah.
So it could be a case of those 3 having like a creative license, and I think it might even be, we might see Rashford joining Martial. Maybe. This is just an idea I'm having.
Yeah, someone else mentioned this, but go on, continue. I'm listening because it's interesting.
I'm trying to think where it fits into what we've all thought we needed, and it doesn't really, does it?
No.
Unless we now go and buy another winger, then it's like, I can see it's excellent, it's squad depth, we're bulking. But for me, the winger needed to be addressed first. So I'm not putting a downer on it, but I'm just trying to see where is it going, because it's an excellent signing. But what I don't want is to, because I know, even though I'm really happy with the transfer, I know what Woodward and them man there are like. They will get this player in, everyone will be really happy. We'll probably then get a lesser player to him to fill some gaps, and then they'll probably call it a day, which I don't want to happen.
Here's the thing to look at, which is touching on what Phil said, which is a phenomenal point. When you went away to Chelsea, I can't remember if it was the cup game or what game it was. Ollie played the diamond.
Oh, that's when he was the interim manager.
Yeah.
When
So
Herrera scored the header of United.
So Ollie played the diamond,
The
and why
good
did
old days.
And
Go
why
on.
did the diamond work so well? Because when, for example, teams go free at the back and
Yeah.
win backs, you utilising and you put in people in areas where they can receive the ball, and you're overloading the midfield where you can dominate a game, and that's exactly what you did. So, for example, that now gives you that option where you can do that away at an Anfield, you can do that away at a Chelsea, for example, at Arsenal now, because they're playing free at the back. Do you know what I mean? That gives you a different dimension to it. So then, I'm not being funny, there's not many defenders in the Premier League that want to go 2-on-2 against Martial and Rashford. Nobody wants that, especially when you've got a Bruno and a Pogba behind him. Like, let's be honest now, no one really wants that kind of trouble. So it gives you different options where you can now start to really judge Solskjaer and his managerial thing is how well can he do tactically in games, can he switch it to a diamond, and can he win you the game. So that's where now this season he has to be properly judged now that he's getting better players.
It's an interesting point you bring up about going 2-on-2 against a Martial and a Rashford, for instance, or Martial and a Greenwood. But Adam, what's your thoughts on it? You know, the diamond shape. Like, would you like to see us change? Are you a fan of the diamond? Because after you give your thoughts, I'm gonna give my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and the boys just both touched on what I said at the start there. It's about versatility. It gives you the option. You have to stop being so rigid with the formation. It's like we were playing Rashford with an injury.
Yes.
You know, when that news came out, well, you know, this should not be happening at a top club.
No.
You should not be trying to ruin the lad's career, which could have happened. We tried it once already with his back, and we finished his season. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have no option. He needs to start trusting the rest of his squad, which in lockdown or post-lockdown, we seem to we've seen the same team every single week. It was very, very rare that we had any change. We knew what was coming, and we was all happy with that. 3 months off, all rested. I got no issue with that. But there were games when, you know what, it looked stale after 60 minutes. Let's change the formation.
Yes.
Let's bring in a different player. Let's play Igalo up with Greenwood against Chelsea in the semi-final instead. If you're going to play that formation, why not play them two?
That would have been a good
So,
idea, actually.
two centre forwards. You know what I mean? Rashford looked lost in that game. We couldn't get the ball to our forwards. We didn't know where. And Bruno looked like he was playing a false nine. He was the most advanced player in that game. It was just complete carnage. He has to have. It was horrendous to watch.
Wait with words, I love it.
Oh, mate, it was horrendous to watch. And that's simply because of the way it was set out.
Yeah.
That was it. It was just appalling. And we played right into Chelsea's hands, and we beat Chelsea 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eventually, someone as smart as Lampard is going to figure it out, change it up. You know what I mean? You can't do it every time. You get found out eventually. So you need other feathers in your cap. So, you know what I mean? We've seen what happened with Guardiola when he tried to change it up in the semi-final, and he's got slaughtered for it. You know what I mean? The strengths that you can play to your team, you know where our strength is. It's in our forward line. We've now backed that up in midfield. Yeah, the defence is a worry, and the lads were touched on the diamond there. Who are the 3? Who do you play at the back as the 3? You know what I mean? The 3 central defenders. Can we rely on Luke Shaw to be that man at the back when we want to switch it up as a 3rd centre-back? You need to have the options to switch the formations around.
Yes.
We've got a big enough squad, but he doesn't use it.
Yes.
He does not use the
He
squad.
doesn't use it. And that's one of my biggest criticisms of Ollie is when people say, oh, the squad's not the greatest, that's why he's had to play the same 11. Yes, we know the squad isn't the greatest. But Liverpool won the league, and like I've stated before, look at their bench.
Look at it like this.
Look
Look
at
at it
their
this
bench.
way. This is a big season for Ollie now, because look at what Arteta's just done with that shower. You know what I mean? So what excuse is there?
It's true.
You can see
the difference
you
he's made
can
already.
see the plan.
Bastard with that
Now
shower, I'm
that
taking
to be able to see a plan, and let's be honest, we're talking Arsenal. You all know how I feel about Arsenal.
Yeah.
For him to get a tune out of that,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's put pressure on Ollie now for me, because you know, I mean, we are a better squad than Arsenal.
And I'm so glad you've made that point, because that is my point exactly. Yes, the players might not be the best, but we've seen already in a short space of time the difference that Arteta has made at Arsenal. Like, we've seen him, the goal he scored against Liverpool, and then I think he scored 1 against City from the back. And you can see the goals are pretty much identical.
Yeah.
It's like, because that is worked on. Arsenal weren't
That's a
doing
plan,
that.
innit?
It's a plan. Arsenal weren't doing that under Ljungberg. They weren't doing that under Emery. They weren't doing that under Wenger towards the end of his reign. And that's my whole point is, I just want to see a pattern of play. Like, okay, what are you doing on the training pitch Monday to Friday? Like, what's going on? Surely you talk like this. Like, I don't like United playing out from the back all of the time. Like, because it makes it easy to play against. Like, it's the same as
Mate,
having.
It makes me nervous.
We look the worst in the world playing
Yeah,
out from the
we-
back.
I feel so nervous.
Because you feel we're going to concede, and that's
smell a
my
goal.
issue. And it's like, if we were playing out from the back occasionally, so say it was on and they played it quick, but we wait, the team gets set, we know they're going to press. So if they're pressing, go a little bit more direct.
Yes.
That's my only issue. And it's like you playing into the opposition's hands. That type of thing. But
You know what? That starts from that number 1 jersey. Don't know if we're going to get into that at all. But
oh, no,
Oh,
we
yeah,
can,
we'll
we
get
can
into
touch on
that.
that. Guess
Actually,
what you want
well,
to talk about? We can
that's a
talk
good
about
point
that.
to get into
That
because what's his name signed a contract since we've last been on. So
Yeah.
that's
So
a
since
point
you
we'll
brought
get
up
into.
Adam, you can start there with the number 1
It
jersey.
is,
How you
mate.
feel about Henderson and
look
who
what
you want to
Bayern
be number 1?
Yeah, look what Bayern Munich did in that final. That defence has all the confidence in the world to play the way they play with the high line because they've got Neuer at the back doing his role. The keeper has to start being trained and be more advanced on the ball. It's as simple as that. Look what City did. Look what Liverpool did. 2 major signings. Chelsea tried to copy it, got it completely wrong. You have to make sure. You have to make sure you're getting the right man. And you know what? Liverpool's and City structures stand out a mile because their scouting system went and got the right man.
Yes.
And that's why. So it starts from the back. The formation only works if you've got a keeper who's happy to pass it. My God, De Gea gives me kittens. Seriously. He is
he does.
horrible.
No, he is.
He is
He really
horrible
is.
on the
He
ball.
He looks nervous.
He does.
He looks
He looks nervous. And as soon as Romero comes in, that defence looks solid. Romero's not as good a goalkeeper. I'm not saying he's better than De Gea, but he makes the defence feel more confident. Is a Henderson coming in going to bring more out of De Gea, or is he going to take it away from him? It's time to let him knock it out between themselves and see who is number 1. Because when De Gea makes a mistake now and he brings Hendo in, then he's not going to be like a Romero sat there being happy being a number 2. Henderson's there and he's already said 5-year, 6-year deal even, 120 a week. I ain't sitting on the bench.
Yes.
I'm coming in. I want to be England's number 1.
That's a sign of
go.
intent.
So
That's what it is. Like,
Big-
it's key.
big
Like
statement.
I've said on here again, like, you can just go back and listen to previous shows that I've had it up to here with De Gea, and I'm not fussed whether it's Henderson who's number 1 to start next season, or it's Romero, or United decided to sign
take
somebody
your pick.
new.
We've got a squad of him.
I'm just done with him. He's been making mistakes for 2 years straight, and to me, I don't even want to see him start this coming season as the number 1. Will he? More than likely. But like you said there, Adam, if he makes a mistake, then Henderson deserves his shot. Because if I'm Romero, this guy's been making mistakes for 2 years, and I'm still not getting a shot. So it's like, when am I going to get my shot? Go on, JV.
Well, here's the thing. What I don't really understand. For me, to give Henderson that contract, to me, that signifies he's the number 1. That's
Oh,
how I
you
see
think?
it.
Go on.
Yeah, because I know De Gea might be on whatever contract, but you don't give someone 120 a week and a 6-year contract to be a backup. They have signified what's happening now by giving him that contract.
That's a fair point.
Do you know what I mean? And the fact that we've got 3 very good goalkeepers, I'd like to know who in the world has 3 keepers of that quality. We have 3 very good goalkeepers. For me, any one of those keepers could go now, and I wouldn't actually be too bothered because you'd still be left with 2 good keepers. For me,
I'd like it to be De Gea, but that's
no,
just
I
me.
would. I honestly think.
So
I
having
think you've
enough.
got to get rid.
Yeah.
I think you've got to get rid. I don't think Romero would be any worse than De Gea has been over these past
Oh, definitely.
few seasons.
I think.
And
so-
I think Henderson's deserved this shot.
Yeah, I think if you put Romero in this past season gone, United comfortably finish in the top 4. Because however many mistakes, let's say De Gea cost us 10 points, I'm probably being kind. If you add on them 10 points, we're right on top of City. And then
You can name them on your hand.
there's no
Watford.
Watford, Everton.
Yeah.
You can name the games.
Well, you can even call them
Burnley.
Chelsea semi-final.
Burnley.
Yeah.
And that's my whole point where I was going into, and I've said this before as well. When it comes to the Chelsea semi-final, if United are comfortably in the top 4, then maybe Ollie can play a stronger team against Chelsea, and then maybe we win the game type of thing. But it's gone in it. It's either here nor there. Stroh, what was your thoughts on it when you seen Henderson sign a new deal?
Exactly what Bill said. It's a sign of intent because it's the size of the contract which stands out more than anything. You look at Adrian at Liverpool, he knew he was coming in as a number 2. He's not on 120 a week. He's on nowhere near that because he knew he was coming in as a number 2.
You know what's is Alisson even on 120 a week? 'Cause
Probably
Liverpool,
not, you know.
No, he is.
Liverpool have got their
150.
wage structure right.
Yeah.
Actually, well, funny you should say that. I'm going to talk on that at some point when we go on to the Thiago stuff. But yeah, Adrian knew he was coming in as a number 2. He's not on that size of a contract. So when you see Henderson, who had the season that he had last season, I'm sorry.
Yeah, true.
T-Rex should not be England's number 1. it's got to be Henderson.
Wait, you call him T-Rex?
Yes, he's got T-Rex arms. Like he's not a goalkeeper. He's awful.
He means Pickford for anyone who doesn't know.
One thing
the
about
reference.
Pickford, I'm gonna let you keep going. He is one of them. He always looks like he's got a mistake in him. Anytime United play Everton, I'm like, just get the ball in and around him and he'll do something.
Shoot.
Take shots,
Yeah.
shoot, cross the ball. He'll do something wrong.
Here's the thing. Alisson made one mistake in his first year, and Pickford was all over him. I'll never make a mistake like that. Funny that, because the week later he came to Anfield, ball got hoofed in the air. All you had to do was let it go, hit the bar, and it's going out. You tried to catch it, hit back off the bar, and we scored a winner in the 96th minute.
Yeah.
What are you doing? So it's like, enough of him anyway. But yeah, my point is, Henderson should be England's number one. And he should have been in there from the beginning. He's that good of a goalkeeper. And it pains me because he's at Manchester United. And it pains me because I know he's going to be your keeper for the next 5 years.
You rate him
Because
that highly? Okay. Now go on, continue. Sorry.
Because-
to cut you
no,
off. I just
but-
didn't know that you rated him that highly. That's all.
from a coaching point of view, the fundamentals are all there. Like, he's got everything you want as a goalkeeper. He can play with the ball at his feet. And he'll only get better at that now that he's gone back to Manchester United. And he's had that experience at Sheffield United, who are a ball-playing team. So he had to learn on the job quick. The amount of shots that he faced last season, the amount of clean sheets that he had at Sheffield United last season, a lot of him pointed to the defence. It wasn't like, the defence did a certain point, but you look at Henderson, the big saves that he made in crucial times of the game. Like, that's not your average goalkeeper. That's a goalkeeper that's going to the top. And the size of the contract, like we've mentioned, that shows to me that you're probably going to give, unless if De Gea doesn't go, De Gea will probably start the season as the number one. The second something goes wrong, or the second that Henderson's ready, he's in, and then you're not getting him out. It's as simple as that.
I think it could even be, sorry to cut you off, I think it could even be De Gea could be doing okay and Henderson gets a cup game, and if he's phenomenal, then that's it. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be that type of scenario when he gets his chance. I think he's that type of person who is just going to take it, and it could be something that might push on De Gea, this Henderson getting this new contract, or because of how his body language and everything is at the moment, it could be the nail in the coffin for him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I've said this for a while, if any other player had his body language, how he just looks all the time and he makes a mistake.
Bad apple. Doesn't want to be here. Unhappy. He does get away with that. And I've never understood that why he doesn't look very happy. And I'm like, look at your performances. And I'm like, like Pogba made the mistake that he did when he did the handball against, was it West Ham?
Yeah,
it was West Ham. And then Maguire comes out and says, Pogba's apologised. I'm like, all right, you taking accountability. The hell, where's your accountability? I'm not saying you have to apologise to us as fans, but at least apologise to the players. Why has that never come out? Do you believe you're not making any mistakes? Like, how are you holding yourself accountable?
You know what it is? It's when he makes the mistakes as well. It's like he's beating himself up. You know, like when a little kid does something like that and you have to tell him, oh, come on, pick your head up.
Yeah.
I get that vibe from him, and it's like, well, you're a big man. You're a professional. You're an athlete. You know, we all have these things what happen, but sometimes I just look at him and I think he just looks unhappy. He looks like, I honestly think he looks like he knows his time's up type of thing.
You reckon he knows that
he knows he's messing up. You know when you mess up,
yeah.
you know you're messing up, and you know you're messing up too much. So it's in his back of his head. He's like, oh, I'm messing up again. And I think I think his mistakes are actually getting to him, and then it's playing on his mind because a lot of the time he's doing similar mistakes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. And yeah, salute to everybody who is watching on YouTube and everyone who's locked in via DAB radio or the website or the app. Make sure if you are watching on YouTube as well, please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. You get me, subscribe to Pi Radio, hit that notification bell as well. And we will try and get to all the comments, but of course, if you do drop a super chat, we'll stop whatever conversation we're having and talk about whatever topic you've brought up. So Faris here says, yes folks, welcome Adam, a very good feature that knows his football, big up yourselves. Salute to Faris. No Beef podcast says, oi oi, shout out to you, man. Salute to you. Stefan says,
one of my lingos, that.
oi oi. Oh yeah, one thing I do want to say, the Donny van der Beek, I heard the chant. Obviously he's not from United yet, but have you heard the Donny
I got a whiff it last night. I'm trying, you know when you get a song in your head and you chant and you forget it and you're like, oh, what is it now? I heard it last night. I was like, whoa, yeah.
A1, we got one. That's what I said.
To be back in the stadium.
Is it? Donny van der Beek. Oh yeah, I was like,
imagine that in the state. Well, when we get fans back, but yeah.
I can't wait. You know what? I really can't wait to get back to Old Trafford type of thing. I bet you can't wait either, Adam.
Well, didn't Thingy have him the other day? Didn't Chelsea have a few fans in the other day?
2,500.
Yeah, Brighton.
It's a beginning.
It's a beginning, but you want to be there Old Trafford, 70,000 or 80,000, whatever the capacity is. You understand? Like,
you know, like
what
if we
a
had,
noise.
like that would be like when you go to them reserve games.
Yes.
You know, and it's like it's about that, like 5,000 people in
That's
there.
what it is. Stefan says, big up, lad. Salute to Stefan. Tox says, we inside. Yo, big up my brother Tox each and every
Big
time.
up Tox, man. Always.
Each and every time. No Beef podcast says, Stroll always talks sense. Marcus says, big up to you. Big up yourself, big man. So I presume he's talking to you, Adam. I presume he's talking to you. That's what it is. Farris says, Donny van der Beek, what a positive signing he is. A very energetic, versatile and threatening player. He will be massively beneficial. He will put pressure on Bruno Fernandes for that CAM position. Facts. You always got these big words, Farris, you know. Akil says, Van der Beek signing was done very quickly. I hope this is the start of United changing the way they do transfers. But may it be because of our connection with Van der Sar. That's true. That's very true.
That's, to be honest, that's what I thought it was, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people
I
have
think
said
Van der Sar's probably
Van der
feels
Sar
a bit
was
sorry
like,
for us.
was like, just go and sort out the
Done
deal.
us a favour,
But you said
innit?
it, Adam, at the top of the show. That's how important. It shows how important having a director of football is.
Yeah,
Vitally
100%.
important.
100%.
Yeah, vitally important. Piet here says, Donny was sitting on Ajax's couch lately. Fortunately, we were able to dump him for 45 million on top deal for Ajax. I'm guessing are you an Ajax fan? I'm guessing by that. That seems like a salty comment.
Yeah.
That seems very. Let us know.
Either that or he's just a City fan. Well, they've probably not got many fans, but
Yeah.
like an Arsenal fan maybe. Arsenal fan maybe.
Oh, yeah, probably a good
Faris says, to me, this is definitely a signing for both the short term and long term. Akil says, if we sign the players all he wants, it puts massive pressure on him to perform. But anyways, we'll have a better team for the next manager. He also says, big up to Adam on the podcast. Stefan said, Adam's on fire. Stefan says, Uppermancado or Benoit
Badashile.
There you go. That's
Badashile.
it. Yeah.
Badashile.
Who'd you prefer out of those two? Uppermancado or
Upamecano.
Upamecano. I mean, we've got some young lads coming through at the same age.
Yeah.
You don't know this. Shilly could come through and be a flop. It'd be too much for him.
Yeah.
So what's the point in spending the money on a 19-year-old defender when you've got two coming through right now in our youth system? We've seen this season. We're talking about Henderson threatening De Gea. I mean, Luke Shaw didn't really start pulling up trees until Williams came through.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I
know
just,
what I
I
mean?
just want to say that was a very small tree, but alright, we'll give him it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he's got. We've got to
he
give
got
Williams
better.
his props.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm give William. I'm talking
Yeah, yeah,
about.
talking
Because people
Shaw,
say,
yeah.
people say, yeah, Shaw did improve, which he did, but it's like,
It made him.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to.
Yeah.
Matic did it with McTominay because
Yes.
Matic was shocking to start the season.
Yep.
And then you're looking at when Greenwood came through. We talk about Henderson taking his chance, but there's prime examples right there that you're going to get given a chance at this club as a youth player. Have you got the minerals to stand up in that shirt on Old Trafford turf? I know the pressure's off now with no atmosphere, like you said then. Is this the right time to blood the young players?
I think
Good
so.
point, actually. Yeah.
I think so. Without the
I mean,
pressure,
it's
of-
less pressure. 'Cause I mean,
definitely.
look at the play, the so-called, well, the ones who look at our players, the so-called prima donnas, like a Pogba, like some people would say, which is ridiculous. But when there's no fans on his back, look at what he does.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Different ball game. You know, when you've not got someone slugging you off from the sideline who's
Yeah.
paid money, a guy who's paying your wages comes on into the stadium and starts slugging you off,
Yes.
then when you feel wanted, this is when you perform. You know what I mean? When you feel like you've got a bond with the club, with the fans like that. And this is why a lot of the young lads get away with it at United, because there's a lot of hardcore United fans who won't have anything bad said about any youth player.
that's very true
Yeah,
because
This
we're
is-
very. 'cause
people
if-
see this with Rashford. I mean, I love Rashford to bits. I've stood
We
up
all
and
do.
had
United fans, I should say.
plenty of arguments with Ricky on United stand, with Rashford and Martial. I said they're better together. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Yes.
No one. Yeah, Martial has gone on another level, I think, this season more for me.
I think so.
But Rashford had his injuries, but at the start of the season, Rashford was holding us up.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what people
So
miss
you
out.
do, you forget
Yeah.
it. You do forget easily. And now we've got Bruno in. Rashford's the one. He should be coming out for Sancho. Well, hang on a minute. I mean, why not? Why is Greenwood not challenging Martial for a number 9 spot? Because I think
Yes.
Greenwood's a better 9.
Yes.
But here's the thing, that's a great issue to have. That's a fantastic
Exactly.
problem to have.
Yes, good
like
problems.
we want competition for places. So the fact that if Martial does fall off, Greenwood can take the 9.
Yes.
And then people are saying, all right, Sancho's coming in. I do believe the 3 will end up Sancho, Greenwood, Martial. But say Sancho comes in and doesn't hit the ground running, then you revert back to
don't know.
Rashford, Martial, Greenwood.
Yeah.
Or if one of them gets in, because one thing about Martial and Rashford we know as United fans, they get injured.
Yes.
Like we know this. I can't remember the last time both of them played a full season with no injuries. So it's like they're gonna get
You know why?
injured.
It's because of their roles. They're them high impact in our team. They're the high impact players. They're the dribblers. They're the one doing the sprints. Do you know what I mean? They're actually
They're the one getting tackled and
they're
and
getting
kicked.
tackled. And then even that point that you said there, if we was to get a Sancho, you know, I'd love to see in a game we've talked about before. In a game we could throw on, you know, Bruno, Van der Beek, and Pogba. I'd like to see in a game where you have a possible, if we do get Sancho, you have a Sancho, Martial, Rashford, and a Greenwood all on the pitch.
well,
You
you're
know what I
chasing
mean?
it, yeah.
That's options. You know,
Options.
like when you look at, I always use them as the example. It might not have worked for them this season, but when you look at City's bench, sometimes that is terrifying. When you actually play City, and you could play City, and they could have Aguero, Sterling, and Mahrez on the bench. And it's like, wow.
And then
So
the
who's
thing is-
playing then? And then you look who's playing, and it's like it'll be
Bernardo
Saga,
Silva.
Jesus, and then you know
Say
what I mean?
Sane when he was there.
So,
for
yeah,
instance.
you know what I mean? So it's like you've got three like for likes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of them three could get injured in your front three. You'd bring on them other three, and it probably wouldn't make a difference in the level of your performance.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We've been missing that for a very long time.
Yep.
We've not had the like for like. I think that's even going back to like when, well, it's Fergie days. That's the last time I say. No, you know what? Maybe when we had the Ibrahimovic and Rooney and Rashford and Martial. Maybe then.
Yeah.
That's when we've had. You know what I
That
mean?
was the last time we had competition for places where when someone's missing, like when Rashford or Martial get injured, we are all like, oh,
Yes.
let's hope they're
See,
okay.
you said it there. You
Let's
look,
hope they're
look to
okay.
when we were last winning games, or when we can actually say we were confident in every game we went. Remember when we were losing 2-0 at half time to Spurs?
Yeah.
Ferguson went with Tevez, Berbatov, Rooney, and Ronaldo as a front four, and we scored 5 in the second half.
Yeah.
That would. I'm careful of the language. That would
Thank you.
send me under.
Yeah.
As a defender, you're like, and it's like you said, when Liverpool go forward, who do you mark?
Yes.
Because you can't double up on one man because that leaves the other two.
Yes.
If you've got more
Get your flowers
options,
to your team strong.
this is where I think City are falling short because
Go on.
they've lost their spine. They didn't replace Company. They didn't replace Fernandinho.
Yep.
They've lost Silva.
Yep.
Preach.
And Aguero is
Preach to the
on his
choir.
way.
Oh, yeah.
They're the whole spine. And let's not forget when they came in. I think they were all pre-Pep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
You
Yeah, they
can't
were.
lose that. You can't lose. No matter who comes in, United have tried to throw all sorts of world-class players, Falcao, Di Maria's, all these into the equation. It does not matter. You've lost your core. You know, right now, you look at United's team now. You could start next season with 7 players comfortably in that team who cost us jack.
Yeah.
That means nothing in my language, by the way, people.
Yeah, Jack's nothing. Yeah,
You know, you could
Just
have
let
you could have
everyone know.
Henderson, you could have Williams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could have even Axel could come in there at
Yeah.
some point to partner Maguire. Then you've got a front line of Greenwood, Rashford, all these players. Then you're moving into your midfield. I mean, Scott McTominay's got to do a lot to get into this team now, I know, but United have actually got a good core that have cost us nothing.
Yes.
Who knows what it is about the football club. People who are willing, players who are willing to work to try and work their way up to get into the team rather than being this marquee player who's just come in and has to go straight into the team because of the price tag. You know what I mean? Sancho may not fit straight in. Like you said,
Options.
if he
That's what it
doesn't,
is. If he doesn't, at least we
Greenwood
know.
comes in. I don't
Greenwood
care about
comes
a
in.
price tag.
That's
Yeah.
that's what we all want the best. That's why, like
Yeah.
you said, if Sancho was to come in, and then say Donny van der Beek, he's on his way in now. So say you do have a Greenwood and a Donny on the bench, and it's not working, you can throw those two on.
Yes.
Game
Like
changers.
as game changes rather
Like,
than
seriously, who do we have on the bench at the moment? Like, you know what? As much as Lingard gets his slating,
He's not
in
the worst.
In the past few games, he's come on and he's scored a few goals. And I like to me, that's his level. I don't want to see him starting every week.
and how many times have I said this that
Yeah.
Lingard is a squad player. So
Don't get
that's
me
why
wrong.
I'm less harsh on him of my criticism of him because I expect less from you. You should not be starting week in week
Do
out
you
for
know what it
Manchester
is with
United.
me? I will always give him his time because I know what he's capable of rather than a Pereira. I don't know what there is. Do you know what I mean? There's players, like even Dan James. I don't really know what there is. You've shown me a little bit in the start of the season, but I've seen Lingard do it at Wembley. I've seen him do it at the Emirates.
Yeah,
I've seen him do it.
we've seen him do it at the Emirates twice back
Yeah.
to back. Dancing.
At one
Man,
point,
let's
he
not
was like
forget that.
a Wembley golden boy. At one
He was
point,
the guy,
he was
yes.
like.
Yeah, every
was
time
the
he went to
go-getter.
Wembley, he'd score.
Do you know what I mean? If we knew we had and I like to see him in that role. I feel like he is better. If you look at the time when he was actually good for us, it's because he had better experienced players around him.
Yeah, of course.
He's not the one to become that main player. I don't think he's ever going to be that in his career, and that's not a bad thing said on him. He needs the supporting cast. you can't expect Lingard to run a game for you, because when you look at it, when we're asking Lingard to run a game, he's playing with McTominay behind him and a Matic. You know what I mean? So when Matic was out of sorts,
Yes.
you know what I mean, and McTominay's still young, and so when you look at the squad at that time, it was a bit. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like now. It's like you throw him now, and there's a bit more quality. Yeah, he can do a bit, but yeah, back to the original point.
It's interesting you say that, because if you had 7 men to go on a bench, who would get on United's bench right now? Who would you put in?
How do you mean? From the current
It's
squad?
like, so we look at that team that we all know is our main team. I don't think we need to question it. We know the front three. We know the free midfield.
Yeah.
We'll put Matic in there just because I'm here today.
Yeah. That works.
We know the back four.
Yeah.
So let's think, right, we need a goalkeeper. That'd be Hendo. Then you've got your midfield of what? You've got James A, you got Mata, you got Fred, you got McTominay. Is Lingard getting a bench? Because you need defenders then. So
That's
who
true.
misses
It's-
out?
It's who misses out.
This is the size of this squad. If you cannot utilise this squad, questions need to be asked.
Yeah.
Because
we have one
I'm
of the
glad, you know
biggest
what?
squads, you know.
There's
I'm
an
glad you're
option.
saying that, because when I say this, I get criticised. Like,
No.
you get me? So I'm
So
glad
you
you're
look
saying
at
this.
it. Look at does Lingard get on the bench right now? Do you know what I mean?
Maybe
Pereira does not get anywhere near this matchday squad.
He shouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know what I mean?
He shouldn't even get in the preliminary, whatever the word is, you know.
And you look at
Yeah,
it,
there we go, that one.
we're lucky this season. We're starting this season with 3 new players without spending anything compared to last season in Williams, Greenwood, and Henderson
Yeah.
straight away. So you've got to start thinking.
Yeah. Someone's
throw over there,
you've got to
yeah.
shift someone, innit?
Someone's got to go. You've got.
Look at Jones.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Let's go.
Get
I'm
me
going.
started.
We'll let you have your rant on Jones, and then we'll move on to the Messi situation.
Just one thing.
Yeah,
Stealing
go.
a
Jones is a
living.
bad player, yeah, but you don't. He doesn't get nowhere near it.
Yeah.
But then every year he doesn't get sold. I don't get
He
it.
doesn't.
He's not been a starter for us for years. But
You know
you
what?
never hear of him.
He's not even been a squad player for years.
This is what I mean.
When's the
But
last?
he still gets new contracts. Surely, you
Oh,
let
he's
if you can't
ridiculous.
sell him, you let it run down and let him go. Do you know what I mean?
Pay to get rid of him.
That's why I'm at the point where I'm like, people are saying, "Oh, United players are on
He's
big
getting
wages."
in- This is
Pay him
my
off.
problem. There's
Go.
good players coming through from our youth system, but players like him get in the way.
Yes.
Pereira is in the way because he's seen that he has to be taking that place more than a youth player. So how are they going to get their opportunities? They have to be exceptional like Greenwood to get a chance. Well, you know what? Some of them may take 3 or 4 games in a season just to get used to
Yeah,
it. They
to
don't
learn
all
it.
have the qualities like Greenwood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're
At
not
that
gonna do a
level.
Rashford for us straight
No,
away.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't. Some of
Yeah.
them take a bit longer. And we've seen that in other clubs right now who have given players like that a chance. But Jones is coming up to his testimonial.
Yeah.
Nah, he's actually Drew's testimonial.
Scares
But,
the living hell out of me.
but one
That's
thing,
ridiculous, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is. But
How
one
he
thing, he,
stole a living
Think
at
of
this
the better
football club
players
for
we've
so
had.
long.
Think of the better
he has
players we've had
survived.
at that club.
He really has survived. One thing he did say though that I do rate, he was like, "I don't want the testimonial." He's like, "Only my mum and dad will probably show
Yeah,
up."
he said
So at
that
least he's
himself.
not deluded. Like he knows.
He knows.
But look at the players we've had over the years who've been excellent players, servants, and they've never even got near a
Some you were title legends,
Yeah.
and you're talking about celebrating pink boots. Come on.
Phil Jones on corners and stuff. Someone posted that up. I seen that on the socials when he took a
Yeah.
corner for us.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
I seen
wild.
it, but it was the writing that went with it. This was when it all started going wrong. Phil Jones with 2 hands in the air.
Do you know what I mean?
Like he was gonna whip it in like he's Beckham. It's like he was prime Beckham the way he.
That was Van Gaal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Van Gaal.
Van Gaal's. Oh,
That was wild. That is.
Do you know what's mad though? Like at my work, they've got boxes at United, and at my old work, they had a box at United as well. I was at that game, and I remember hearing a fan next to me like, "Who's that taking the corner?"
That's instantly what you'd be thinking. Who's that?
and then someone went, Phil Jones. He went, "No, I'm genuinely asking to see this question." And he went, "No, it's actually Phil Jones." He was like, I can't repeat what he said, but he was not happy with Phil Jones.
You knew how Phil Jones was in with every United fan when we had the longest penalty shootout I've ever lived through. I think it was a derby one, wasn't it?
There was one that was very long.
And it was like 11 all.
Yeah.
I mean, we're running out of players. We're running out of players, and it's like, who's next? Oh no, just give it the keeper.
Yeah.
And as soon as Phil Jones walks up, you thought he's looking like he felt sorry for himself before he even got to the spot.
Yeah.
It's like, you're missing, aren't you, mate?
Yeah,
You're missing just to annoy me right now. And just send me home fuming, aren't you?
That's what I'm saying,
And he
man.
missed it. Oh my God, I could have smashed something up on the way out.
Like, but you know what? I give
You know
it
what?
Ollie for the players he's got rid of.
Yeah.
But him, he mystifies
He just
me.
seems to survive.
Do
This guy survives
do you know what it
everyone's
is?
tenure.
It's that Fergie tag, the next Duncan Edwards.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
lingering
yeah.
around
Yeah.
on all managers. It's like, seriously, he's not that good.
Everyone's waiting to see if it's true in it. Like,
Yeah,
let me
you
just
see.
keep him in.
I can't lie. I
training.
still can't get this image out of my head of him with the corner with his 2 arms in the air.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
but-
that
It's
is.
his 2 arms in
no,
the air
but-
that makes it worse.
No.
Like if you just if you just went over to take the corner, I just did it normally, it would have been all right. It's like, why have you got your arms in the
No,
air?
but do you know what the best bit was? I remember the corner.
You
Should have seen the face of the players, mate. Because the ball's come in, it's overhit, it's awful. And I can't remember who your centre back was at the time, but he's like,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I've just run 70 yards for a corner, a goal scoring opportunity, and Phil Jones is taking it. Like, what's going on
I've
here?
seen anyone put both arms in. Like I've seen people put 1 arm in the air. Why are you putting 2
You know
arms
what
in
though?
the air?
In his defence, I've never seen a centre back, come up for a corner and then go to take it.
Yeah.
You come up for the corner and they go in the box, innit?
Yo, someone should have just grabbed the ball off him.
Yeah,
Like, someone's
yeah, that's
got to be held
The
accountable.
fact that he was giving instructions to take the corner, you got to look at that more than Phil
That's what I
Jones.
mean,
Actually,
yeah.
it's like he'd do whatever he's told.
Yes,
so
that is true. That is
it's
very
not
true.
all on him. I'll defend him on that set. I'll be like, Louis, seriously, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to give your head a wobble on that one.
We gotta sort it out. But yeah, moving on from Phil Jones
Wow.
taking corners, we'll switch pace. Stroll, we'll start with you. Obviously, Messi and the whole Messi situation, no pun intended, that's going on at Barcelona. And then I think Sky reported today that he's refused to train.
Yep.
So it was the other day he refused. Basically,
Go on, Stroll.
in order to train in Spain, you've got to have a
The test. Yeah.
coronavirus test. And basically, there's reporters there waiting to see him. It was getting later and later. The deadline was coming up because you had to have a certain test by a certain time in order to train. Lo and behold, Messi's nowhere to be seen. And what does he do? So he sent a bureau fax basically saying that he wants out of his contract, which he felt would be able to get him out of his contract. La Liga have turned around and said they're not going to sanction any move. Now, there's stuff I need to talk about with that because there's information which isn't necessarily correct with what they're saying because they can't fully back that up internationally, but I'll come on to that in a minute. So Messi doesn't turn up. He then sends a bureau fax basically saying, I'm not going to train. I don't want to play for Barcelona anymore. I want out of the contract. Now, here's the problem with Lionel Messi's contract, for those of you that aren't fully understanding in the
Yeah,
comments
break
and
this
stuff
down
like
for
that.
me as well because
So-
this sounded like,
Yeah, it's a bit crazy.
again, no
yeah.
pun intended, this just all sounded messy when I was hearing the clauses in
Yeah,
the
so
contract he could leave,
so
etc.
there was there's a contract which Messi signed, which basically said that if he was to send by bureau fax that he wants out of the club, there was a certain timeline that he could then leave on a free. Now, Barcelona have pushed back to that and saying, no, the clause in your current contract is it's 700 million euros. That's your release clause. You're not going anywhere until you sign that. La Liga then came out 2 days ago and basically said that they're not going to sanction any move. Now, when people see that, they're thinking, oh, Messi's staying at Barcelona. No. What that means is they're not going to sanction a move to any other team in La Liga. He's not going to any other team in La Liga. He's only going to go to 2 places. Or 3 places, shall I say. He's going to go to a PSG. He's going to go back to Argentina. Or inevitably, well, it looks like he's going to go to Manchester City. Now, Messi, and the point that they're at now, Messi's dad is now going to speak to Barcelona. FIFA will sanction a move for him to transfer free. That's the big point here. FIFA will sanction it until the court date comes because they're going to end up going to court. It's just inevitable. Messi's completely acting. I can understand his frustrations, but you wouldn't see a Ronaldo do this. Because I know for a fact Ronaldo had his issues when he was at Real Madrid with Fiorentino Perez. I know they had big issues. Ronaldo never once acted unprofessionally. This is completely unprofessional and it just tarnishes everything that he's done at Barcelona to the fans and everything. He's going to get his move. Whether it'll go through and then the court date will happen, that's the problem. But as it stands, Messi's gone. It's as simple as that.
So so you're saying he's definitely leaving. It's just a question of when, not if, and
Yeah.
where
Process
to.
and everything.
No,
in the process. Because Axe plays here says no one talks about Messi's attitude. Imagine if Pogba did this last year.
well, here's the
Yeah.
Here's to Mourinho. If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
No. Well, here's the problem, right? You look at the signings and certain signings that Barcelona have made. Coutinho, when he left us, he was in his prime. Phenomenal talent. What happened? Messi didn't take a liking to him. Griezmann.
Is that what happened over there?
Yeah, they had an issue at training.
Okay, right.
So he does it with all of them.
Yeah.
Griezmann, another one,
Yeah.
prime,
Yeah, that's right.
World Cup winner, and it's been documented by Guillem Balaguer and like good Spanish reporters that like other players have had to try and build a bridge between them. PK had to get involved at one point, and other players have had to get involved at one point, and that's why Griezmann isn't the same player that he is because, and that, to be honest, that's one of the reasons why Neymar left. Like it was one of the reasons Neymar left because everything is about Lionel Messi. Neymar left because he wanted to be the main man somewhere.
Yeah.
He was never going to be the main man. Look at Thierry Henry. Everything was structured around Lionel Messi. And you don't realise this at the time because of how young he was.
Terry Henry and you put him on the left wing. That's crazy, you know, when you put it like that.
Yeah, that is true.
And then you look at Samuel Eto'o, Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking big names here.
That's like 5 players you've mentioned, and the media really
Five
Yeah,
world class.
Yes,
top of the
world
level,
class.
yeah.
That's not like
World class.
any mediocre. Like you talking main men, like quality players.
And then
the media sweep this under the corn stroke.
And then you look over at Real Madrid to Cristiano Ronaldo. Him and Bale didn't have the great relationship.
No, but it worked.
Did it work? Did you hear anything about them not having a great relationship? No, because Ronaldo's a team player.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And that's the issue that Barcelona are always going to have. Is you look at how they're structured, there's a reason why they're going to fall so far behind and why this is completely the end of an era for Barcelona is they've not got the transfers right because everything is structured around, well, it's all about fitting into Messi's. It's Messi's Barcelona realistically. This is how bad it is and how bad of a club it's run. One, they don't actually want to be associated with Spain. They want to be Catalonian, which is their own, but that's a whole different political topic, right? So then you've got that issue. When the CEO and the actual chairman and the president of Barcelona is saying, I will step down if it means Lionel Messi will stay, Messi runs that club. Messi runs everything to do with that club. What kind of a football club is that? You look at the Carlos Tevez situation, you look at Beckham when he was at United and stuff like that. Fergie came out and he instantly said, there's no player that's bigger than this club. Because there's not, and there shouldn't be.
Benched him, put him in the reserves.
And he made an example because Manchester United is although it might not be run perfectly at the moment, Manchester United at that time was the best run club. Bayern Munich, the best run club. We had our issues. And it was always, Coutinho, for example, when he was faking back injuries, he was not bigger than Liverpool. No player is ever going to be bigger than the club, apart from Lionel Messi at Barcelona. And that's the mess that they're in now. And now you look at him, they are genuinely going to drag their greatest ever player, their top leading goal scorer ever, through the court system because of how bad they've run that club. It's always been on Messi's terms,
But
never
you know what it is as
Barcelona's
well?
terms.
As much as it's Barcelona not running it right, you have to remember, Ronaldo came to us and he said he wants out. And Fergie said, give me one more season. And all right. Do you get what I mean?
that's true. He did say okay.
Yeah.
But
And
people-
that was it. And that was the end of it.
yeah, there
Do you
wasn't
know
no.
what I mean?
There wasn't no.
So it's all right. Then Ronaldo could have then threw his toys out the pram and you know what I mean, but he didn't because he's a professional. For me, there's something about Messi, and I've said this for a very long time. If you look at the players he's played with for Argentina, where he doesn't have control, yeah.
I like where
Why
this is
can
going.
they not do anything? Why can they not even? They can't put together a good team. You'll see an Argentina team, and they'll have Messi with like some
Aguero.
obscure striker. Now sometimes
see.
it's not even Aguero. Sometimes it's like someone from Argentina,
yeah,
and then they'll have like Higuain, Aguero, and someone else on the bench. And you're like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? Because is he trying to do that there? How can they have? If you look at the players who Ronaldo won that Euros with, you could arguably say
He had Eder up front. Let's just put that into perspective.
Every tournament that Messi's played with Argentina, he's had better players.
People, and the thing is, people look over that fact because even the final that they lost as an Argentinian, it was in Brazil. You're in the final. All right, make your mark. If you do that as an Argentinian, you go down as one of the GOATs. You go down
because it's in Brazil, he goes down as the.
He goes down
Yeah,
as
but
the GOAT. That's like someone in a Manchester United colour. United winning the league at Anfield. Whoever scores that winning goal, it could be Phil Jones. We're never going to forget his name. Never in life.
Yeah.
That eradicates
There's a
whatever
statue
you've
at
done in
that
the past.
moment.
There's a statue at that moment. That's exactly right. So it's that type of thing. But he seems to get away, like you mentioning all the players he fell out with. I didn't even know he'd fell out with some of them. I didn't know he had issues with Griezmann, Coutinho. I knew about the Ibrahimovic one. I didn't know about the others. So that goes to show how it's, with the media, it's swept under the rug. You mentioned it, JV, about him internationally, and people brush over that. It's like, that can't be brushed over because you have talent at that level, and you've been around a long time. I think he's won 1 Copa America, I believe, he's been involved in.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is the bit. So for someone that watches a lot of international football and stuff like that, he's retired from Argentina 3 times because he's never got on with a coach. Why has he never got on with a coach? Because it's never his way. That's the problem, and that is the issue that Messi has. Messi, I'm not being funny, he's a generational talent, He's arguably one of the most gifted players in the world. He will never be the greatest of all time because in order to be the greatest of all time, you have to have humility, you have to play as part of a team. You can't win everything by yourself. And he proved that at Argentina. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. He was injured in the final. What did he do? He strapped his leg up. He went and stood next to the manager, and he became part of that coaching staff. And he coached his team through it. That's the difference. Elite mentality, and he doesn't have the elite mentality. And that's my biggest issue with Messi.
And you mentioned it. We spoke on it in depth last week. That's the key word there in terms of mentality. When I look at my GOATs of anything, when we're talking GOATs at the highest level, and we're talking here, obviously I look at your skills, your talent. But how do you do when you're not going well? And when your team get beat 8-2, all right, you can lose games, but there's a way to lose. And we spoke about it, getting robbed for the ball and then you just walking around. I don't even remember you having a shot in that game. I don't remember you, a piece of skill, nothing. Like, get the ball and do something, shout at someone. Like, I don't remember you at all during that game. And you just got beat 8-2 and people are calling, like, GOATs don't go out like that. Like I mentioned it last week, I spoke to bring it into basketball terms, Michael Jordan. Like, he's not going out like that. Like, even if the Chicago Bulls lost, he's putting up 30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and then
like we said, Muhammad Ali.
Yes,
just
you know
about
any,
to say
any,
that, Jordan.
Any different type of sport. You know what I mean?
That last dance pretty much showed what winning mentality is. You drag a team to the depths of despair, even though you know what's coming. You know what's happening at the end of this season. You still drag that team. That probably wasn't the best on paper. You know, but he made them play out of their skin. This Messi, the boys have touched on everything that I want to say. He does my head in how he thinks he can run a club like Barcelona. This is Barcelona. The Spanish league, and they're writing what they're saying in the news right now. They are absolutely bricking what's about to happen because the Spanish league is going down the pan. It really is. It really is. And you know what? I'm laughing at Barcelona right now for letting this happen. Because Messi has no respect for anyone at that club. The only people he had respect for have gone. The players he was coming through. The only time Messi worked for me, when Messi was at his best, was when he had players above him who had more respect. And I think we can all argue that Carlos Puyol, Iniesta, Xavi, they all demanded more respect than Messi. When they were in that team, they were gods for me. They're the ones that made it work. Messi just was the one that opened everything. He opened Pandora's box to that unbelievable team. There's no team better than that I've ever seen. I don't think anyone will ever match it. Simple as. That team was phenomenal.
That team is incredible.
Absolutely phenomenal. And
team's incredible.
Since them players started going, we've seen the issues started coming with Messi. When Iniesta's gone, Xavi's gone, it feels like he's like the senior figure now. For Ronald Koeman to come in, and we all know what happened, he had to sit down with him straight away. I don't like one word you're saying. I'm going to throw my toys out the pram. Here we go again. It's the Messi show. Like the boys said, for a club like Barcelona to let this happen, you know what? It's going to be catastrophic what happens to this football club right now. Because I'm looking at Coutinho actually having a decent game for Bayern Munich when he came on the other day. And you're letting your player you've let out on loan is there picking up the Champions League. There's something wrong with that.
And then you're paying money for it.
Something's wrong with that.
Actually, good point. Not only are you paying money for it, you're paying more money to Liverpool for it because of the clause that's in the contract that says if Coutinho wins the Champions League, you have to pay us an extra 10 million euros. So you've let that happen.
And it's a point I said last week. You're going into that match with Arturo Vidal as your number 10, and you've got £145 million Brazilian number 10 that is yours on the other team.
The other team's bench.
Which talking to the point of how much of a mess Barcelona are in, Rakitic is now going to Sevilla.
Mm-hmm.
Vidal's now going on a free transfer back to Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Messi's going.
Suarez is off.
Suarez is gone.
off, yeah.
Apparently, 1 second on this Suarez thing. Is it true that his contract's been cancelled?
Yeah, his contract's been cancelled. They've cancelled his contract. The third high. Bear in mind when he left Liverpool, the third highest scorer in Barcelona history, and you're cancelling his contract.
Who's the third? Yeah, because he did score a lot of goals.
How have they managed to not secure a fee for him? How do you not just sell him?
Yeah,
just
sell
get
him.
30 mil for him.
Yeah, you could get some. Like somebody would definitely
PSG.
pay some form of money for
A
Suarez.
lot of people would.
PSG 's
Italy,
not a bad shout.
Italy.
Somebody
Yeah.
definitely
Juventus.
would. Somebody would look
Inter.
at Suarez. Yeah,
Inter by everyone.
I honestly think if someone says Suarez 30 mil, I think Liverpool might even look into it.
somebody would definitely
I
sign
think
him.
Liverpool might even go,
But like I said, that goes to show what's going on everywhere in that club and how that club is like. We talk about United in depth, but there's someone in Spain, a radio station in Spain, having the same conversation now.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Spain saying what is going on. Barcelona fan,
That
three
league-
Barcelona fans and a Real Madrid fan talking about
That
it
league,
somewhere in Spain.
that league is just beyond corrupt. It's unreal.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
frightening how that. It's like the country is run by football. If you're a Real Madrid fan,
Yeah.
you have to bank at this bank.
Yeah,
If you're a
That's how it
Barcelona
is,
fan,
like-
you have to
because of
bank
Catalonia
at
and
this
stuff
bank.
like that. Like, this is how bad
You
it is.
cannot veer one way or the other. It's so it's just got so much depth to what is going on. You can look deeper and deeper and deeper. It gets worse and worse. It's so bad.
This is how corrupt it is. So last season, Dembele got injured, right?
Yeah.
And this is outside of a transfer window. La Liga suddenly introduced a rule where you can now
Yeah.
get emergency signings, right? So what did Barcelona do? They went to the team that is fighting relegation. They went and got Braithwaite, who was their top goal scorer, out of a transfer window and signed him. Just because Barcelona were missing a player.
Didn't you see someone else did it as well recently? I think it was Valencia. I think they had a check this one. Valencia, emergency goalkeeper. They needed
Yeah, I
a
remember the goalkeeper one.
They went and signed a striker.
Yeah.
So the goalkeeper gets injured.
Yeah, that's
about
exact.
this.
Yeah,
They go to the league.
Yeah, this is true.
They
This
went
is
to
how
the
bad
league,
it is.
said, we need a goalkeeper in emergency. You know, the league goes, okay, because that is actually a rule. I think you can do it over here. We did it back in the day with we signed someone really terrible. But when you get too many goalkeeper injuries and you don't have you
Back
can
in,
actually
you
sign
can go
one.
get a goalkeeper.
You can sign one. But they went and signed a striker.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
That's
there
how
was no-
corrupt it is.
There was no like, oh, what you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It all went through. It was fine. So you have to understand, this is a league where your Messis, your Ronaldos, they all get done for tax whatsoever, and then they all go to court and it gets swept under the carpet because they probably pay them off.
And back onto the actual football inside of it as well. What makes it worse with the Messi thing when you look at it, when I look at it personally, I'm like, if Barcelona were flying and doing well, I don't think you kick up a fuss and try and leave. So as soon as the going gets tough, it's like, all right, I want to leave. And we've seen him do it for Argentina, where he missed the penalty, he cried, then retired, then he's gone back. So I'm like, you're the GOAT, you have all this talent, you have all this talent, you're still arguably top one, definitely to me top two in the world. But as soon as the going gets tough, and you're Barcelona through and through, it's not like you were signed from somewhere else. You've been there since you've been a child. So you should have that love and that loyalty for them. Okay, they've given me this shot. Now it's going. You should be captain of the ship. You should be trying to patch up the ship. One sec, stroke. You should be trying to patch up the ship. You know what I'm saying? Instead of I'm jumping overboard. Let this sink. It's like, right, this is Barcelona. You are Mr. Barcelona. That's all. You're a one club man.
You never played for another club.
This is what I'm saying. You are a one club man. So it's kind of like, how are you just gonna let it go? Like, why are you not talking to Koeman? This is what we need to do. Why are you not talking to this is what we need to do, etc., etc. If sorry to cut you off. If that's Ronaldo, he's doing that to me. He's not just dipping. Ronaldo's talking to the manager, the high right. Right, what do we have to do to get this back? Because Barcelona ain't that far off. They just need to get their structure back together. Like they're not that far off at all. You're in the Champions League. What quarter-final was it?
Yeah, in a bad season.
In a bad season.
You know what I mean?
In a bad season.
Yeah,
and you have Lionel Messi. It can't be all that bad.
The point I'm trying to make is what set this ball in motion was when Lionel Messi, at the end of the season, came out to the Barcelona fans on the microphone and said, I am going to win you the Champions League next year. Then, they beat yous. They then get us in the next round. They win 3-0 at home. You then come to Anfield. All you've got to do is score one goal. Like the Barcelona Twitter tweeted, like Sergio Busquets tweeted, and he's not tweeted since. They got arrogant and cocky, and that's the problem with Barcelona and them Spanish teams. They're arrogant, they're cocky.
Because their league, so
yeah.
what?
Exactly.
So
And they think they could just walk over any team. And then you look at the team that's like, to make it even worse, we had no Salah and no Firmino. We had Origi and Shaqiri up front. That was Shaqiri's first game in 3 months. That's how bad that is. And you let us walk over you like that. And then look at Messi. Then people start to question Messi. Straight away his head's going, he's thinking, oh, like he's never been questioned like that. Everyone looked at Messi in that game like, well, what did you do? Ronaldo would have scored.
I did. And that's one thing I said. Watching it, I was like, if that's Ronaldo there,
He's
scoring a goal, or he's hitting the bar, or he's rattling the post twice, or he should have.
Can you name me anything that Messi did in that game?
I legit can't.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
But he done the exact same thing in the
Bayern game.
Yes.
And you know one thing as well? There's 2 things about both of those games which is identical. And I'd love to know how they managed to do this. But there's a picture of him at halftime in the Liverpool one, and there's a picture of him at the halftime in the Bayern one. Both pictures, he's like that.
Yeah.
Head down.
Yeah.
Halftime, head down.
That's not a leader.
Have you seen that? And someone put this up on Twitter, and there was a comparison, and it was I think it was Ronaldo for Juventus, and they needed to switch a game around. Every player comes out the tunnel. He's the first one out in the tunnel when they're waiting. He's the first one out. Every player that comes out, he's giving them a pep talk, personal. Right, so you do this. Right, I need you to do this. And every player he does that to, and then he goes right to the back. So they all come out, and he comes out. You know what I mean? And that's a leader.
Yes.
You know, that's the total difference.
No.
But you know what it is? That's
a-
you mentioned it, elite mentality. That's
Yes.
GOAT, not even elite. That's GOAT mentality to me.
That's what I mean.
I think
That
that's
is-
something special in you to have his talent and also have a GOAT. Like have the GOAT mentality as well. Like he's
Yeah.
acting like he doesn't have that talent.
Yeah.
Like he's pushing, even though he could just be lazy and still do very well. Like still score goals, still assist. But the fact he has that mentality and that drive, like you can't teach that. And that's what I'm saying. Like with Messi, imagine Messi had Ronaldo's drive.
It'd be even. Check this. If Messi had Ronaldo's mentality,
Yes.
he'd be clear.
Yes.
This is what people don't understand, and I say this all the time in regards to Ronaldo and Messi. Messi is just absolute God-given talent. I believe he's probably been. I don't know for a fact, but I can imagine he's just been doing that since he's about 5.
Yeah.
He's been doing that. I reckon Ronaldo has had to work.
Yeah.
He's had to work. He's had to sacrifice, and do you know what I mean? We've all played football. There's some players who just have that ability, and it's just like they can just do it.
Oh, tell me about it, man.
know what I mean?
When they're
Yeah,
not on
you
my
hate
team,
them,
I hate
don't
on
Yeah,
them.
you hear it, that's what I mean. It's like,
really.
bloody hell, I put in this work.
You strongly dislike
Yeah,
him.
and
Certain
you-
players, you're
yeah.
just like,
You-
how are you two-footed like that?
You'll do like extra training and all this and all that, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. You'll be working on it at home in your own time. This guy probably turn up Sunday league, probably half cut from last night,
Right.
and he'll bag a hat trick.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
George Best.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know that type. You know what I mean?
George
So this
Best.
is what I mean. There's players like that. But then here's the thing. George Best would have had that leader about him. You know what I mean? There's a difference in mentality, and I think this is what it comes with. A lot of people, it's like if someone doesn't have to work for something, they don't cherish it. They don't value it as much, and that is honestly what I think it is with Messi.
Yeah.
It's just. It's
Because
like
he's-
someone's got a
because he's
ball at
got
his
it.
feet and he's been able to do it.
Because I did see a clip popped up on Twitter, and it was him. It's weird that you mentioned that. And he was like, I think it was New Old Boys he was playing for, and he was like 7 years old. And he was literally, it's just him in miniature form,
running
doing
through,
what
yeah,
he does,
yeah.
That's what I
dancing
mean.
past players.
There
And
you
it's like
go.
because
See,
you've
I've
had
not
that.
even seen that. Not even seen that. There you go. I can just imagine.
You could imagine.
Because when
It's
you see him
literally
doing it, that's not like you can't really train that.
Yes.
You can't train someone how to dribble past 8 man and then just put it in and like dink the keeper and you're like, what? And when you think about it, it's like, you know what I seen? I seen his first ever goal for Barca.
Yeah.
And I think someone put it through for him and he's like 17.
Nah, it was Ronaldinho.
Yeah, Ronaldinho chips it over the defence and he just lobs the goalkeeper. Like, who in your first ever match, in your first ever goal, who is that confident to just lob the keeper?
That's ridiculous.
Do you get what I'm saying?
This guy loving goal.
So he just lobbed the keeper in it. So it just shows that it's God given. And this is why I always say Ronaldo, for me, personally, will always be better. Because he seems to be, sounds a bit deep, but he's a better human being. He does.
Footballing human being, I would say.
No, I'd say overall.
Say
Messi seems like a lousy guy. He does. I can't see anyone who's like, all right then, you always get all these stories, don't you? Anyone who's played with Ronaldo, in training. I've never heard that about Messi. I never heard, when you go La Masia and Messi's just there curling in free kicks all day. No, you don't hear that. But you can hear someone like Carlos Tevez say, I play with this guy and he's there at training at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
So then I come at 6 o'clock in the morning to try beat him, and he's there.
My favourite
Yeah, yeah.
one's Fergie. Is Ronaldo had a bit of a knock, and he basically told him, "Look, go down, get seen to." I think it was a knock on his ankle. He was like, "Go down, get seen to by the medical staff. You're not training today." Fergie's in his office. He hears someone pinging balls outside. It's Ronaldo practicing free kicks, and Fergie's going mental in the office. He's like, "What the is he doing? I told him not to train," and he's been out there for an hour, and he stayed out there because Fergie actually went out and was like, "What are you doing? I told you not to train." He was like, "But I need to get better."
Yes.
That's the mentality.
And I seen a clip of that. I think it was today. It's ironically today. Phil Neville talking about his work ethic, Ronaldo's work ethic, and just how his work ethic is incredible for someone with that much natural ability. Because people don't get mistaken. Even though we know Messi's God gifted, like Ronaldo's super talented, but he's also worked on that as well. Like we all know about Evra's story when Evra said he went to go lunch, and he said, "I went for lunch, not another training session."
Yeah,
he's had people just walking around the house and that like. That's where you have to rate it, and I do rate it highly, and that's why, to me, when people have that I know who I want in my team.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I think this is why Coleman's got rid of him, I think. Because you have to remember, Coleman is a Barcelona legend.
True.
He's a legend at that club. It won't... See, like, if you was to go and watch Barca every week, and you'd see him, Messi in a match, because we all know how much Messi walks around all match, innit? Imagine you, who's shed your blood, sweat and tears for this club, running around like 90 minutes like a madman to do your output for this team. And then you see Messi doing that. And then, he gets away with it when you're winning. But then imagine when you're losing, how much of a problem he is in that team. Yep. Like, can anyone say anything to him? Did anyone say anything to him when Alphonso Davies ran past him and he didn't even track back? Would anyone have said anything?
I highly doubt it.
Exactly.
Too scared.
And that's the problem.
They're too scared, and he's got all the fans on his side.
Yes.
And that's what he's living off. He's living off that. I mean, you mentioned Koeman there. He's another guy. It's like a bit of an ass, doesn't he?
Yeah.
His whole aura about him. He's just like, I'm bigger than whoever it is I'm in the room with. That's what it is. And you've got two of them come together. Messi, he's one of them. He's like you say, he doesn't look like a nice guy, does he? He's just got that aura about him, but he is a winner. He's an actual winner. He will win you games
definitely
all season long. But you can't live off that. You can't live off that. Barcelona have lived off Messi for decade.
At least more than a decade.
And now they're getting what they deserve now. They're getting what they deserve completely because you know what, they've based everything around him and let him have his say.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're in the middle of a new construction of the San Siro. You know what I mean? Money's drying up. If you lose a Suarez and Messi, you lose a Rakitic. The new camp is being revamped. And officially
they're putting
it's roofing over,
remember they've got no roof, have they?
There's a roof going in. That's going to cost them a fortune. Messi has to go for money. Yeah. Otherwise, Barcelona are finished, in my opinion. Seriously. They are finished unless there's something so even more corrupt than what we have come out with. That's some coronavirus 400 million bailout loan that lets Barcelona regenerate their whole team. Comes out of nowhere from the Spanish government, which I'm not saying wouldn't happen. Yeah. But the debt that club is in, and it's well documented, is astronomical. It makes the Glazers look like a corner shop going out of business. That's what it looks like. It's so bad.
But this is why they couldn't get Neymar back.
You can't afford him.
What was the figures on
because they tried to block that as well. They tried to block that as well. They tried to block the Neymar transfer.
Messi's wages are astronomical. He's on $1 million a week, isn't he?
Is it It's actually $1 million a week.
Basic $1 million a week. Then he's got his image rights. Yeah. Then he's got his he's got sponsorship.
And them image rights over there. It's a crazy thing. It's like you basically. I think it's a bit illegal if you think of it because it's basically
there's a surprise.
It's like
illegal.
Because it's like his contract. Yeah, it's like he gets extra money on top of his contract, which isn't actually in his contract. Right. Do you get what I mean? So he's I think the whole package altogether is something like 90
Look at it in depth. Look, there's only one country I think in the whole of Europe involved in UEFA. I think who actually go outside the box, who don't go along with things, and that's us. That's England. We're different to everyone else, Well, it's no surprise that the league was stopped shown in this country. You know what I mean? When they cut that when they cut that off from us, it went off from Sky, everything. They don't like people knowing what they're doing over in Spain. They really don't. If it was investigated, if it weren't for such powerhouses as Real Madrid and Barcelona and the power that they have over UEFA, because UEFA cannot afford for them clubs not to be in their competitions. It is just not happening. They cannot afford. They won't get what they want money-wise. And we're about to see now, this is the ultimate test. After what UEFA have done to City, this is the ultimate test now. And they're going to do whatever they can to make sure that Lionel Messi doesn't leave Barcelona. But at the end of the day, Messi now has gone completely against Barcelona, and they are in a situation which is impossible right now. The two powerhouses, you've got fans and player against the club and UEFA in my eyes. And like Joe said, if FIFA are having to come in on this, and then you've got the whole FIFA UEFA sort of who's got the bigger muscle thing again there. It's no surprise what UEFA are trying to do with losing the European Championships, the Euros. They've got no income at all. Champions League is the be all and end all for them. If you haven't got a Barcelona in there, this is what the Spanish League will do and UEFA will do together. This is how corrupt it is. They will make sure that they are always in it. You know what I mean? It's not fair. The way that the money's distributed in Spain is uneven. The big two get all the money, and no one else gets hardly anything. There is something we're trying to make that change. I know. I was watching something on that about that trying to change, but they're too powerful. They've let it get to a stage now where they've got too much of a say, and they're going to struggle to try and turn this around. After what UEFA did to City, you know what I mean? They've pulled PSG. These clubs are not going to stand for it. If anything happens now, and Barcelona somehow get out of this mess, then you know what?
It sets a precedent for the other teams.
It's going to start. People are going to investigate UEFA. You know what? This is the thing. I think they've got UEFA under the thumb. That's the problem. And then if FIFA have to come in, who is eventually going to bring these? Who's going to bring these big juggernauts up on all these charts? Who is going to do it? There's no one bigger in this industry because the FIFA run themselves. There's no rule over them.
No one
There's no one's got a say on FIFA.
That's true.
And if it comes to FIFA, then you know they do whatever they want. Judge and jury of their own outcome.
They literally do
all the time. So for me, it is a complete mess down to one man. That is scary. How that one man has got so much say and has caused so much of an issue right now. What the rest of Barcelona has done with, like you said, cancelling Suarez, it's suicidal in my eyes. It's suicidal.
That is wild because, like you said, it's not like it's a Suarez. Okay, it's not Suarez. Prime Suarez, but you can get some money for it. Somebody would still. Someone would still
keep him and say, you know what, we've got Griezmann.
Just back up.
Dembele.
You know what?
But here's the big problem with Barcelona, right? You look at their team right now. Jordi Alba, 33.
Yes.
Yeah.
Busquets, 34, 35-ish. Yeah. Right. So.
Don't forget PK as well.
PK. Right. So there's three of your spine, right? The ones who you would go to. Here's the now problem. Like I've just said, Rakitic is going, right? So who's now going into that midfield? Oh, Vidal. Funny that, because Vidal's now going on a free.
He's kicked up a massive stink
he's kicked
as
up
well.
a massive fuss.
Big time,
What was he saying?
Because it gets to the point where these players are just sick to death of this regime, of everything.
That's going on.
He's got it. He's got it, so I want it scenario.
Yeah,
that's what they've created now.
He's got it, so I want
it. So then you look at, and then you letting Suarez go. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, this is why Ronaldo now comes into it, because he is Koeman through and through. Because he plays for Koeman in the national team, and he was Koeman's go-to guy. So now Ronaldo comes now into the picture, and now they need to try and reinvest in that midfield, and they need to try and revamp. And that's why when you see the Rakitic deal going through, there's now a catalogue of stuff where Thiago now starts to come into the picture, Ronaldo now starts to come into the picture, and then things will start to happen off the back of this because of how bad run of a club Barcelona is.
This is a bigger case of what happened at United. They're about to lose what everyone knows Barcelona for. This style of play is gone under Koeman. You ain't getting this nice football. This is what Messi knows as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is what Messi. There's no Wijnaldum as all right, decent player he is, he isn't on the level of what Barcelona are used
Of
to.
a Xavi.
Yeah,
They're not.
playing,
They've got Rakitic, the Xavi, Iniesta. He's not there. He's not that passer of a ball. He's not that player. It's not good enough. And I can only see him spiraling out of control. It's only going to get worse right now for Barca.
Yeah, it'd be interested to see if Coutinho goes back, if Koeman decides to use him. Will he go back to Bayern Munich? Because again, he's another one who
I think he has to bring him back.
he has to bring him back.
I think Bayern have
He
said
has to bring him back.
Because Bayern said they're not paying up.
Bayern said they're not going to pay
obviously,
it.
if Bayern want him, it's going to be like 100 million.
100 mil.
We so badly need the Germans right now because they're the leader in all of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can hate them for as much as we are jealous about how their clubs are
How
run.
warren they are.
But you know what? They're the powerhouse, aren't they? We need them to stand up and make a mark, and they're the ones who are showing how football should be run.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are the
Honestly.
leaders. They are the benchmark. And finally, well, not finally, because Bayern have always been good, but you look at the way they're all run.
Yeah.
They all, you know what I mean? They've had no money. You know, they don't charge a lot to the fans.
Yeah.
It's all based on structure and how clubs are run, and it's to a
We
T.
spoke in depth
You know what,
about the way their senior players then will retire and then go upstairs. Because
Yeah.
then when you see, I think I seen Oliver Kahn celebrating when
Yeah.
I was there. I heard you mentioned it. I think it was last week about Stefan Effenberg being
Yeah,
involved.
all of them
All of them.
but
top
here's-
players.
Shaw, Sami
Yeah.
Hamadic, whatever his name
but then
is.
it's-
Say it properly.
Hamad-
Sami Hamadic. All of them players, they're all there.
Yeah, go on.
No,
go
but
on,
I'm saying, but then it's no surprise when everyone looks at Liverpool now as the best run club in England.
Yeah.
That there's a German involved in it because he's
Yeah,
come from
yeah.
them structures.
That's
Just
true.
took one from yeah.
No, do you know what I mean?
It's true,
No, because he's been in around that and he knows exactly
What to do.
how it's run. So it's no surprise that his imprint's all over it.
No surprise
Best-
that the two
best-
managers are German
best-
in the
be-
Champions League final.
Best thing that happened to Chelsea was the transfer ban because they're only doing what Liverpool did. They're spending the big money from Hazard like Liverpool did with Coutinho.
Oh, yes.
They're not spending out of their means. They're not going out
Yeah.
putting themselves in debt.
Exactly.
They're spending what they've sold.
Yeah.
And what
So
they've earned in Champions League
Exactly
qualification, in Premier League money and stuff like that.
So you know, it looks like.
Go on,
it
last
kinda
point,
looks
and then
like-
we'll move on from it.
It looks like it's a return to how football was before all the billionaire owners, where it's clubs. The prospering clubs at the moment are the ones who are being run properly
Yes.
in the actual old school traditional way,
Yep.
in not the way of the owner comes in and we just spend a load of mega bucks. There's a lot of thinking being put behind it now. Liverpool's is methodic. Bayern Munich's, as we know, is very methodic. It's all thought through. It's a process.
It's a
Do you get
process
what I
and you
mean?
can see it from top to bottom.
COVID has brought it to light big time,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
COVID was the worst part for teams who haven't been run well. Oh, yeah, shout out to Saeed, Mr. United Central A. He says, big up the man, then make sure people to press the share button. Exactly. So, yeah, pay
Yep.
attention to Saeed.
Big shouts out to Saeed.
That's what
Side,
it is.
Salute,
Make sure
brother.
as well, if you out
System defender side. Yeah.
System. You can catch Adam Matic, Saeed, plus more on the United stand alongside Flex. I love them videos of you for it's great. It's great because you normally the one just like laughing while it's like Saeed and Flex or Saeed and KJ are going back and forth and stuff like
Oh,
that. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah. So-
The Harry
Oh, do you know what, mate? That was the worst thing about lockdown was the fact that we knew he was on every single night, but we knew the play rate. So every time anything was going to extra time, it's like, oh, it's going to be a 1 o'clock show. Oh, it's
Yeah.
not working tomorrow. I'm just there like that. I'm just like, shut up, man. It's not right. You're not right. No, but you can see it in all of us. But at the end of the show, we're just like, see you later, fellas.
Yeah, see you
There's
later,
not even
yeah.
a chat afterwards. It's like, night.
Night. Yeah. Hard working. It's not all rainbows and blue skies. And
I'll
stuff
tell you.
like that.
I'll tell you
Go on,
something. Transfers are now really starting to pick up, big
Yes.
time.
Yeah, I think it's exciting Premier League wise when you
In
look at everything that's going on. It's
depth, though,
exciting.
Like you said, in depth, and you know what? Like quality transfers, like the player that you know that club needs is actually happening, and the right structure of the deal. You know what I mean? There's not like mega money going in, which is hopefully
Yeah,
a good
it's
sign.
crazy,
It's sensible sort of signings. It really. Look at all the signings that other clubs made. You're like,
Measured.
yeah,
There's one
yeah.
that stands out to me. Rodrigo to Leeds.
yeah, exactly.
He's the Spanish number 9. He's the Spanish international starting
I
striker.
didn't even know that he was
And
Spanish international.
he's
He'd
gone
fit
to
into-
Leeds.
He'd fit into a lot of top clubs. That guy.
And he went Leeds.
Yeah.
But
Without-
that's Bielsa's pull, isn't it?
So
That is.
double against Barcelona last season.
Okay.
Scored against Chelsea home and away. Scored against Real Madrid. Scored against, I believe it was Bayern, I think it was. Like, this is a ridiculous signing for Leeds United.
27 mil as well.
27 million pound.
That's a steal.
He's the starting number 9 for Spain. I can't reiterate that enough.
Again, that's where you've got a manager who knows what player he wants.
Yes.
And you look at it and you go, Bielsa, Leeds, the football style, you go, yeah, I can totally get that. I totally get that. Well done for getting him.
They're going for Rodrigo de Paul as well. Very good young Argentinian
Udinese.
midfielder at Udinese.
Oh my lord.
They're going in for him.
This is Leeds.
This is...
See that? To all you clowns, yeah, who were like, yeah, I want to see Leeds get back in the Premier League. It's great for look now. Look what we have to contend with. Go on, continue. That's just the United fan in me. Look what we got to contend with
The
now.
rivalry.
People like, was the rivalry? What? Nah, man. Let's just play him in the FA Cup or League Cup every now and again.
This is what I've always said. It's true. But this is what I've always said, why I don't get about Ollie. This is why I didn't understand how Ollie couldn't get Haaland. And I know there was difficulties with the deal, but he's targeting Spanish, Argentinian.
Yes.
This is where he's managed, and this is his nationality.
And
he's
what he
using
knows.
his tool. Yeah, he's using what he knows.
Yeah,
Are
because you can
telling
talk to
me
these
there's-
players in their native tongue. It's
Are you
like us
telling
going
me-
to get an English player
Yeah.
or Scottish player. Or it's like you
Are you
understand where
telling
it's
me
from.
Ollie couldn't have just rang him and just had a phone call in Norwegian? Or you telling me there's not a top under 21 Norwegian player right now who maybe
We
who's
don't know
not-
about.
and we don't get him?
Prime example right there. You touched on it there. You look at, we had Jude Bellingham and Haaland on our lap, basically.
Yeah.
They were given to us, yeah? Where did they go? Both went to what we've
Germany.
just been bigging up.
Germany.
It looks like a better deal.
Yes.
Germans are making, and this is what I'm talking about, clever transfers. They're making the package sound better for the player. So Ollie spoke to both of these, and he's made. Arteta spoke to Gabriel personally, convinced that guy to go to them. You know what I mean? You know what? If you can do that as a manager, then you earn your corn there. Like he said then, Norwegian.
Yeah.
He's managed him before.
Yes.
How are you not making that work?
You've got his number.
What do we need right now?
You actually have his number.
You
Striker.
have your number.
You've got his number.
It's really that's an easy layup. And
You
it's
know
Manchester
his
United.
dad very, very well. You
well.
probably had a drink with him down the pub.
Yeah, definitely.
Get that deal
It's
done.
an easy layup. And one thing that the German clubs have done, obviously with Sancho's made that deal, because when Sancho left City, there wasn't a host of clubs in for him. He's gone there and now is arguably the most sought after youngster in Europe type of thing.
Yeah.
And speaking on packages, I recently found out as well that United were in for Alphonso Davies. This is before he went to
Before he went to Bayern.
Yeah.
But this is
And-
under
but he was at
radio.
Vancouver
Yeah.
and he didn't like how
No. Do you know how many times we scouted him?
how many times?
20 times.
20 times.
Someone. So we watched him 20 times, yeah.
This is why I've said our scouts are the
I
you've got
delayed
the
on the
scouts.
deal. Who delayed? It's like the Bruno. You know what? It comes back to the Bruno Fernandes.
It's like Pulis saying Gnabry's no good.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
It's like who watched
That-
Bruno in the summer just got the past summer and was like nah, and then he's coming in January and he's lit like who passed on him in the summer?
Yeah.
Who watched him play and said no?
This is what I mean.
For the price he was.
honestly, if that's me and I'm hearing that, I'm questioning this scout and I'm saying, has he done anything good since? And if
Yeah.
you tell me no, you're gone.
Yeah, you literally pull up his resume and you're like,
Yeah.
who have you scouted, who you declined on, what are they
unless
doing
that
now?
was just like, oh, you've missed that one, but you've got me so and so and
So,
so and so
yeah,
since.
yeah.
Okay, I'll have that.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that you've missed out on, and this is when he's costing pennies as well. This is when he's at Vancouver. He's like 17.
Vancouver, you know.
He's at
I didn't even know Vancouver had a football team.
He's like in MLS 2 or something. He's like in MLS second division. I'm sure that's what it was at that time. So
That's how bad that is.
you've literally got someone there who is now, to me, he's looking like the best left back in the world.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is, he wasn't even a left back before he went there. He was a winger.
He was a
Yeah.
winger.
He was a winger.
He was bought as a Robin Ribery replacement.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they went and got, obviously they got Gnabry there, who was good enough for treble winning Bayern Munich, but not West Brom. But you know,
And
it's
this
what
is
it
one thing. This is where
There's just no
there's
words
a
to
problem
describe
going on.
that. There's just no words.
from
You know what it
English
is?
football
You know what it
to
is with
German
Gnabry?
football.
He don't work hard enough. He don't track back.
There's
That's
something.
what it is, man.
There's a big disparity there
It is.
because you know what?
You
I
don't
even
track
seen.
back. That's
I
what
even
it
seen
is.
Jude Bellingham. I know it's friendlies, but I
Yeah.
seen Bellingham the other day for Dortmund, and I thought, it's like he's got better already.
He's improved already.
Bro,
Yeah.
I swear to you, he looks like the confidence he's playing with, the players he's playing. You can see it's brushed off on him already. He's playing. He's coming on and he's having like a main role in the team. He's not coming on and he just looks like a 16-year-old getting minutes.
He's made to feel that way.
Yeah, he's coming on.
And
Yes,
that's what
exactly.
happens.
He's coming on and he's having an impact. He's you can see he's already integrated with the players. I think he scored and they all ran over to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they know what that is going to do for his confidence. Obviously,
Because let's be honest, he's going from Birmingham City to Borussia Dortmund. 4 or 5 levels apart. That is a massive jump
Yeah.
for a
Monumental.
player that young. And let's be honest, right? He's an English player. To move to Germany, different food, different language,
Culture,
there's a
lifestyle,
different
everything.
coaching, different lifestyle. There's a whole load of
Discipline
things
as well, yeah.
which will completely disrupt you as an individual, as a person, as a family member, loads of stuff like that, right? For him to hit the ground running like that just proves how well ran these teams are.
Yeah.
Look at Sancho, exactly the same thing.
yes.
Like, there's a reason why younger English players are now looking to go to Germany and get a chance because they know Sancho laid the blueprint. Bellingham's now following
that's what I'm
it.
saying. Sancho laid the blueprint, and people forget that because, like I said, again, I'll say this: when he left City, there was no talk about him.
No.
There was no, Sancho's going to Dortmund. There wasn't a host of clubs coming in for him at that point, and he's left. He's gone to Dortmund, and now we're talking best part of 100 million for him.
Do you know
That's what
what
we're
the funny
talking.
thing is?
Minimum 100
Do
million.
you know the same? Do you know who the winger? So he used to play against United, obviously, youth team level. Who's the opposition winger on the opposition side? Who is it?
Who?
Chong.
Yeah.
Chong was so Sancho was their winger,
Yeah.
and Chong was our winger. So just look at the difference in levels. But then look at the funny thing now. Look where Chong's just gone.
Yeah, Werder Bremen,
Germany.
Germany.
So he's probably looked at that and said, "What? Wait, I was playing against you. If we was in the reserves 2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
and I probably even did you on my day.
Yeah,
Or, do you know what I
yeah.
mean? We've beat
Dropped
you
a shoulder in,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean. I've done you on my day, or I've had the better game, and I've been the better player. You've been the better player the next game. But 3 years later, now we're looking to buy you for 120 million. But I was."
That means Chong's going to come back from Werder Bremen, quality left back. You hear me?
You
Played
know
left
what?
back Marcello, man.
Do you know what? That's not that is not the worst idea in the world. Sending him to
Go
Germany.
Germany.
Yeah.
I think we
Seriously.
might have to send some of our first team players to Germany. Manchester United.
Nah. Look, some of them. If you're not playing, you're out.
Some
It's
of
your
them
first
first
team.
team.
Them kids, yeah. But there's even another kid. I think Rabbi Matondo used to play for City. He's for Schalke now, first team.
Yeah,
every week.
Schalke.
Because if I remember correctly,
You know what I
the
mean?
kid who was at West Ham, did he not go to Germany on loan as well? Reece Oxford.
Yeah.
Yeah,
went to
Reece
Germany
Oxford,
as well.
yeah. He
Is
was
he
there.
still over there?
He's played for. I think he's been to 2 teams over there.
Yeah.
Is that 2 separate loans?
One of them
Reece
was
Nelson
Hanover.
there. He's
One of them
back
was
at-
Hanover.
Yeah, that Reece Nelson. He was at Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
He had a sick run at Hoffenheim. He's come back to Arsenal now. He looks like not saying he's gonna set the world alight for him, but he's a player now. He's an option for them. Do you know what I mean? So
Seems like it's the place to be to go and learn your trade and
Yeah.
get better. Like you said, we've seen Sancho's like the highest level, but even if Chong comes back and he levels up 2 or 3 levels, it's like, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. So we'll soon see what happens. But it seems like you said Germany is the place to be. So on to transfers, we'll move on to Chelsea because they've made literally. This is like when Abramovich first took over Chelsea. Signings every day. Chelsea linked with someone new.
2005 all
Signings,
over again. Yeah.
It's 2005 all
Yeah.
over again. Like literally, they haven't. And if you look at their team, the only position I think they haven't filled so far is the goalkeeper. They needed a centre back. They went and got a centre back. They signed a left back. Werner came in. Ziyech came in. Havertz looks like that deal is on its way. So
Silver as well.
So I see that so many I forget. Yeah, Thiago Silva, yeah, centre back. That's who we were talking about. Thiago Silva, yeah. So what I want to speak on is the pressure now Frank Lampard is under. So to me, with them players you've added, now if you add a goalkeeper, I'm not saying you have to win a league title, but to me you have to be in the race. Considering that's being said, if United don't have a good window, if United add to it, to me you have to be closer to the top 2.
Oh no, they now
Would you know?
have to be looking as they have to be looking for the league.
Be in the race for it. I'm not saying win it, but I'm saying you have to be in the race for
No,
it. That's me
I
personally.
think not even be in the race. I think they have to.
Oh, is it?
I have
You
to
reckon
with
win
that
it?
money they've spent there. Those players, if they get Havertz over the line, that's £100 million player. We've already said how the market's got a bit more sensible. So if you're buying now, you're £100 million player. I don't care.
That's over
how old he is.
240 million spent if they get Havertz.
Yeah, I don't care how old he is. You know, £100 million player. He has to be your match winner. That's a critical player. He has to come in and set the league alight.
Okay, so if you was a Chelsea fan, what would your expectations be?
Their expectation has to be the league.
So if Chelsea, say they challenge for the league but don't win it, would you want Lampard gone?
Not gone, but they failed with that money they spent.
If they don't win a trophy, then there's serious
Adam, what do you
problems.
think on it?
There's a minimum, and that's single points behind City or Liverpool, whoever win the league. You have to be at least be in the mix. Let's not forget that gap, and that is a massive gap that Liverpool have set. So you could spend upwards of 300 million. You might not close that gap.
True.
It's all going to come down to, and I've said this about Ollie. He's had a year now, Lampard.
Yeah.
He seems to have got a style across to the players. Their squad depth is ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
That midfield, I'm like, if one of their midfielders get injured, you're starting. Any other team, I think. If City lose, say, Bernardo Silva now that Silva's gone, David Silva, then you're starting to sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
De Bruyne goes, you're sweating, aren't you? If Chelsea lose a midfielder, you're like,
if they lose Kante, it's like you've got Kovacic or Jorginho.
Kovacic, Jorginho. You're forgetting about Pulisic here as well. This kid's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Monks, Loftus-Cheek sat on, he can't get anywhere near the matchday squad.
Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, Loftus-Cheek, yeah.
I'm
a fan of Loftus-Cheek.
I thought this guy was going to be the one who came through. When I seen him play, I thought he's got everything. The strength, the pace, power, good on the ball, and he's even good in the air. You know what I mean? It's an all-around midfielder, and they've bought 5 around him.
Yeah.
So you look at it, there's a balance there. Lampard has to find that mix. And maybe the first season is going to be integrating all these players. This is going to be the challenge for him, I think. It's finding that balance. He's not been afraid to go out and buy someone who's probably got more respect than him in Thiago Silva, which I don't think Ollie would ever do.
No.
He only buys players below him.
You've said this before,
He's not one to worry. He's not one to think, oh, this guy's going to come in and try and command my dressing room.
Undermine me.
He has got a lot of characters in that dressing room now, Lampard. Yes. He has got an awful lot. He's got a lot of different leagues that have come together, a lot of mentalities. He has to balance that right now. So I think this season, top 4 minimum, trophy, I think they need.
I think a trophy.
They do need a trophy, I think, now. They need to start that again. Lampard needs his first one. And I think we're getting within 10 points of City and Liverpool with that money that's spent. And then I think Chelsea fans would say, you know what? Yeah, I've seen an improvement. Next season, do or die.
Yeah.
Because if you don't win it next season, having had a season with this new team, and you're probably going to get a bit more added to that.
Yeah.
But he now has built, it looks like he's got his team. Because let's not forget, all them youngsters he's brought in, they're all through Lampard.
True. Yeah.
He has got all these new players coming. He could have a full team of just his players next season, near enough.
Pretty much, isn't it? Yeah.
And that is him then. That's him.
You know what the best thing, I think, will be for him is the fact that Abramovich still isn't allowed in the country. It's a bit of a less pressure.
It's just funny
because when it doesn't go right, you know what he's like.
I'll tell you what though, that woman running the show there is not to be messed with.
Yes,
Abramovich is, you can't say second-hand man obviously because she's a woman, but she
second in command.
She knows her stuff.
Yeah,
she got 55 million for Morata.
Yeah.
Come on! Seriously. What are we missing here? This again though, it's like City have got 2 DOFs, you know what I mean? Liverpool have got theirs, so Chelsea have got a woman in, and she can drag. She's about to sell Bakayoko.
Yeah. What is it? 30, I think it's 35 mil, 40 mil.
40 mil for
Yeah, it might be euros actually. It might be 40 euros. 40
and what are we still? We got players there that we can't drag 60 million together for 5 of our duck eggs. You know what I mean?
Serious? Like,
Come on.
That's one thing with Chelsea.
Quality running, and that's, you know what I mean. That goes a long, long way.
Chelsea
You've got someone like that backing you up.
Yeah.
They've been superb at getting players out.
Yes.
As well as getting them in, though. What they recoup is just off the scale. So for me, you know, Lampard is under pressure. He is, but I think he's got one more season to not so much mess, but look like he's making another step. Yeah. I think the one after that, and that's
the one I think he's looking at.
This is what Ollie's on now.
Yes, this is do or
This
die.
is Ollie's season now. Lampard's got one more to come, I think.
Yeah, like Ollie's literally, it is sink or swim time. There's no more. I think the middle ground for Ollie has run out. Like for me, I'm like, honestly, okay, even though I don't think you're good enough, I'm like, all right, you finished in the top 4. You deserve your chance at this season. Let's kick on, especially if you're backed. If, say, for instance, we do get a Donny van der Beek, and let's say 2 more players. If you're back correctly, all right, now we should see significant improvement.
Even if he's not backed, he's still going to come out and say, I'm happy with this squad. He needs to be solely judged now on this season.
Yeah.
Because he's had chance. You know what I mean? He's the one who's got that backroom staff. He's the one who's not questioned the medical team at Manchester United, which are the worst in the league by a country mile.
Easily.
You know what I mean?
Our players never come back fast.
They don't. It's like that. It's like, oh, he's got a little knock. We're just going to assess that in the morning. We all know, oh, there's an MRI and there's 8 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like,
How has it happened? You know what I mean? If he isn't to blame for Rashford getting injured, then it's one of his staff.
Somebody, that's the thing
buck
with that, is somebody
stops.
has to hold accountable for this.
The buck stops with him.
When Rashford
said
said,
this.
you said this, JV
Yeah.
has said
I
this for a
said
long
this for
time.
so long. I said
he's
when
not
he
right.
come back
Yeah.
at that first Tottenham game, I was like, yeah, I want to see Rashford. I want to see dribbling. And I said, whoa, he turned into this playmaker on the wings. He gets the ball
Passes
and he's
it.
looking for someone to make a run. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, it's warming in. First match back, okay. It's like 5 matches in. I'm like, yo, I said, this guy is injured.
Something's
He's
not
not
right.
running.
Something's
Do you get
not
what I mean? So
There was one game where it looked like he possibly aggregated it, or must have, because the Palace game, he was superb. How he sat down the whole Palace defence
yeah,
for his
first
goal,
goal,
and the
goal.
run
Yeah.
that and the run he set off from the halfway line. I thought, here we go. Like you said
Yeah.
then, I always back Rashford. I thought he's back.
yeah,
We have got him now, and then it just went catastrophically downhill from there, and he wouldn't run past the man.
yes,
He was passing instead of running, and that was like a big sign. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying.
something's not right. Why is he walking around like a slapped ass? That's what
Yeah.
I said.
And
You know what? I
everyone's saying,
doubted him.
oh,
Yeah.
I was like, I did myself, and I've always backed him. I thought, you know
What's
what?
going on?
I'm not gonna just because I like this player. I'm not just gonna back him for no reason. I thought he's not good enough right now. He's not. But if he's injured, then I'm coming straight down on Ollie on that.
Yeah, because
Big
it's
time.
funny how he's just been withdrawn now from
Yeah,
the
nah,
squad.
supposedly that's what I was going to say. So
Yeah.
he was playing the back end of the season with an ankle injury.
Yeah.
And then we know he had the
not
back
on.
problem. And it's like, why do you continue to play this guy when he's not injured? Because people forget he got injured before lockdown and he was supposed to be out for the summer. And I think he was going to rush back and try and play in the Euros.
well, that was it. That's what it
That
was.
was, he's going to rush back and play in the Euros. And it's like, if you are
Doesn't
injured,
work, does it?
just relax. We've seen this happen. People
Beckham,
spoke.
Rooney
Beckham,
did it. Both
Rooney,
did it.
Michael-
Both were crap.
Like,
That's what it
rushing
was.
back. If you're not fit, you will get time to play. Just
Yeah.
we'd rather see you 100% fit rather than 80%.
Can I just-
You know what the thing is as well? Just one sec, Joe. For the fact that he's rushed him back, yeah, but you've now got your Greenwood,
Yeah.
you've got your Igalo, then you should have done some. You've literally got options there now.
Yes.
You know, it's not such as before earlier in the season, like Adam was saying when Rashford was carrying us,
Yeah.
and it was just him. At
Because
that time.
Martial was injured and
Martial
Pogba was injured and no
Pogba
Bruno.
weren't there, Bruno weren't there, Greenwood went Greenwood. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying he had to play him, but he didn't have any other options. The fact is he had options and he still played him. And then it's I think it's the same with there's other players who suffered from that to the back end of our season.
Come on, who else you think suffered from it?
You know what? 1 second, I had it on my phone. I think it was since we come back from lockdown.
Yeah.
The players who played the most minutes was Bruno, Rashford,
Maguire.
Martial,
Maguire.
Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. When you look and Pogba, sorry, when you look at that, yeah, that's most of our team. I've just named you about 6 players. So how can you have 6 players who've been overplayed? 2 of them, Pogba and Rashford, have come back from long injuries.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Wan-Bissaka, it's his first game playing European football and cup football because he's not doing that at Palace. So he's playing.
That's a very,
Do you get what I'm saying?
very good point. People
he's going
forget
from,
that.
He's going from playing probably at Palace. He's probably not playing every match that season. He probably played about 30 games. He's played 60. He's played about 50, 60 games
Yes.
for us this season. So you know what I mean? Oh yeah, he's young and all that. No, the players. Do you know what I mean? They do burn out. Do you get what I mean?
It's not the physical side of it. It's the mental
Mental, yeah,
side of
that's what
it.
I'm
The
saying.
mental
Forget that.
burnout
Yeah.
is
Mentally,
what gets
people
you.
have to take a break. Go on, Stroll. Were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say, so Solskjaer comes from an era where that was known. Managers were to put pressure on players to get them playing even though they're injured. So, for example, Michael Owen, when he was at Liverpool, torn his hamstring, which for a player of him, that's not good. So he torn it in the March, and we were away in the not in the March. He torn it in the April, and we were away in pre-season for June, right? And Gerard Houllier basically knocks on his door. He's in the middle of getting treatment on his hamstring. I need you to play tomorrow. And I was like, I've torn my hamstring. It's a grade 4. Like, it's the worst of the worst. Like, what do you mean I need to play tomorrow? It's like, I've got pressure on me. The fans are here to see you. I've got pressure from up above. I need you to play tomorrow. You look at Solskjaer, there's so many comparisons in this whole scenario where it just screams out. Solskjaer's in a job that's too big for him. He's at the biggest club in the world. Rashford's his go-to man. He needs Rashford, fit or not. He's playing him when he's injured, and it's not acceptable. You look at him, the whole back stuff, right? He had an injury from when Henderson and him went 50-50. When did you play us?
That was a
When did Rashford then actually had to come out injured? January, February? Was it?
February, against
and
Wolves.
You played us when? October?
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
like
He was
19,
injured then.
He was injured then, yeah.
That's
yeah,
what I mean. We could see it from. I've said this
Yeah.
from so
You could
long.
see at points where he was. I'm thinking it was a Wolves game. It was a home game or something, and you
Was
could see.
Wolves.
Yeah, it was
He
Wolves.
threw him on when he didn't need
You
to.
too, yeah.
Yes.
And you could see
And
by
that's
his
what
movement,
caused the
just him-
back injury.
Yeah, just him walking around. It's like you're not even just walking normal. Never
Yeah,
mind getting
yeah.
into a
Clear,
spin.
Van Persie.
jogging.
Van Persie nailed it when he talked about the exact same injury. He says
Yeah, he said he
if
had
you
it,
don't
yeah.
do it right, you may not be playing again. It's as simple as to throw someone straight back in. You know what I mean?
Give him a
Young lads, Rashford's age, coming through at United, and now the pressure under keeping your place, they're not going to say no to playing. When a
Yeah,
manager
they're not
says,
saying no.
"Can you get through it?" they're going to say, "Yeah, of course I can."
Yeah, go on then.
That's what you do
Yeah,
as a young
yeah.
player. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
look after your body. You don't know
But this is
until
where
you've got an injury. And that's like you said, this is where his staff around Ollie, well, what are they doing? What's the
Yeah.
point of being there?
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
no, because Ollie's got that old school mentality. So this is where you question the sports scientist. This is where you question the club doctor. This is where you question everyone that's in around that medical team. Who's signing this off for him to play?
Yeah.
Who? Because one, you're not only putting the rest of his life at risk because he's going to play. Football's a limited window. You're only going to play football for a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah.
These are long-term injuries that can affect you for the rest of your life, your childhood, spending time with your grandparents, with your kids, with everything. Who's signing this off?
Yes.
And this is why I get so frustrated. Manchester United are the biggest club in the world. They should be run as the biggest club in the world. Who, in that sports science team, is allowing this to happen on a consistent basis? Not just Dolly, because he's out of order, and we know that. But who? This is where the
Been going
backroom
on for
staff needs to be
years,
held
yeah.
accountable. It's
And they
not
tell
good
us that
enough.
Carrington's got some of the best facilities, and so yeah, if
You
they're
can tell.
that good, then
You can tell there by the way Strong
Yeah.
went in there. That's the manager in him talking.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that you're a manager there, Strong, when you make certain
If
comments.
we've got the best facilities, then it's obviously the people who's using them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the tools; it's the person who's using it, then, innit?
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Never blame
Accountability.
your tools.
There you
Yeah.
go.
A good
Accountability,
tradesman never
yeah,
blames his
that's what
tools.
I'm saying. It's about accountability, and that's not just like we're talking off the pitch, but it's also on the pitch and decisions making
Exactly.
and things like that. It's like who's signing off. Like we've done long shows about Manchester United and all the issues we have going on, but at
The
least we
game's
got
changed, mate.
yes.
The
it
game
has.
has changed.
It's a squad. It's
I
not a
still-
1 to 11.
I can still remember Ferguson injecting Rooney for the Bayern Munich game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rooney went down that first leg, and we were like, end of the set, and then he's on the pitch. First thing Van Boyten did was went right through the back of him. There you go. There goes the Rooney season.
There you go.
I can't
You know
remember.
what
Was
I
that
mean?
the season we had a?
Is that the season where Rooney scored? He scored a lot. He scored a lot of goals
He
with
did.
his head.
We literally relied on Rooney. I think
Yeah.
we had the European
Oh.
Championships or World
Yeah.
Cup or something was happening
Yeah,
that
Was
summer.
it? Was it a Robin volley that knocked us out that season? Or am I thinking of another one?
No, it is that season.
That
It is
one.
that season,
That
yeah, yeah.
one. They beat us 2-1, I think, at their place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rooney went down injured as they scored the second goal, and then we're thinking, oh, we're up against it here. And then literally he rolled on the pitch. I'm like, how's he even playing?
Yeah.
And then Van Boyten straight away,
Just clattered.
it's the German
You know what it is?
mental
That's-
bang.
You know, Van Boyten, that's experience.
Yeah.
Because Van Boyten probably seen that and said, wait, he's probably just had one of them injections.
You
there.
think
Let
you
me
said
just-"
they're
you
not?
know what I mean?
They're not going to be thinking I could ruin this guy's career.
Nah,
He's thinking
that's-
this guy thinks he can beat me on one leg.
Yeah.
There goes your
There
other.
you go.
It's all right.
And that's what the managers put him in. So you know, the young players will always say, and you know what? Under Ferguson, you're probably scared to say no
Yes.
because you won't get another chance, would
Yeah,
you?
you don't want to. You don't want to say
You
no.
don't
wanna let
say
down
no.
Fergie,
You don't
innit?
wanna say
You know
no.
It's
what I
like that, like you said with Ronaldo on the training ground. Training, yeah, Ferguson was never there on the training ground, hardly there. You know, he left his coaches to do it. He knew where he was needed, Ferguson.
Yes.
There's all these people who think the coaches, and you know, might sometimes put the right people in the right position. Why?
Yeah.
We've got Mike Phelan from the Stone Age. You know, we got Carrick,
Who's new?
From the
Brand
Kenner,
age.
new.
new.
At this level,
brand
completely new. You know what I mean? It's no wonder Mourinho started to go down the pan when he lost his number
Yeah,
two. He'd been
when,
with him
Yeah,
all his life,
Rui
career.
Ferreira.
Yeah, yeah.
Ferreira, yeah.
It's no surprise. You know what I mean? Even Klopp had his little wobble when he lost his second in command, didn't it? The curly head.
Yeah, and
guy.
then his third in command stepped up.
Yeah. His team.
Yeah, because
Pep with Arteta as well.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
you go,
Exactly.
Pep Arteta.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean-
we've seen that.
Pep with
Number
Arteta.
twos, yeah, they'll say number twos never make good number ones, but I'll tell you what, the number twos for a reason.
Yeah.
They make
Who
good
is
number
all
twos.
these two?
That's a great
He's
question.
No
not.
one.
He's got
Because-
3 twos.
Fergie changed his all the time to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
He did it.
Don't you remember when we lost? I remember one time we lost like Brian Kidd or something, and you seen it straight away.
And you're like,
He was like, "Whoa," you know what I mean? And then he's had his what's his name?
Carlos Queiroz and people like that
Queiroz,
coming
the
in.
one who was the England manager.
Steve McLaren.
Steve McLaren. Do you know what I mean? He always, like you said, he always updates it every so often.
Walter Smith. He brought Walter
Yeah.
Smith in it for one
Crazy.
spell.
Yeah, Walter
Crazy.
Smith.
What about that?
Brought him in.
That's taking it back.
That Walter Smith was a manager in his own right.
That's why
I'm saying.
Fergie lasted as long as he did. He adapted to changes.
Got
Yes.
to adapt. Evolve or die. Literally.
Yeah.
Go on, Stuart.
No, I'm just saying from a managerial point of view, having a number 2 is key.
Yeah.
Because, for example, you've seen me on the sideline and stuff. I don't manage at a great level. I just manage at a Saturday league level. But there's still times in a game where I want to make a substitution, and my number, Chris, who run the team, is like, "Whoa, wait a minute, have you not spotted this, and this?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, actually, yeah, that's fair enough." And then we talk about it. We talk about the change. We talk about the structure, the shape, everything. Ollie's not got that. Ollie stands by himself, and you can tell that. That's why he's so scared to make substitutions at times, because he knows it stands with him.
I think you hit the nail on the head there.
But if it stands with you, it's like,
This is Holly's
stand on it.
This is how he is with everything. He can't afford to have someone come in who's bigger than him. He does it with his transfers. Like I said, all these players he brings in are going to listen to him.
Yeah, Dan
Let's
James.
be honest. They're all going to go, right, Maguire, United fan. Ollie, legend. No-brainer.
Easy.
Yeah. Dan James. He's Wan-Bissaka. Palace. Yeah, there's no one coming from another one of our rivals anymore. There's no big egos ever coming in. We got rid of the 2 biggest egos in Sanchez and Lukaku because he couldn't handle him. He could not handle him. That's the difference. And I think it's the same with him on the sideline. You know what? It goes a long way. Get someone there. Start to build your managerial career yourself. You know, I mean, don't stand still.
Or just get some experience. Like I said, just get some experience next to you. I think Ollie, if you got someone who was experienced and had tactical nous next to him, he'd be much better.
You don't see him
He'd
in
be so
this
much better.
whole lockdown. You don't see him talking much to Phelan.
Yeah.
You don't see him talking to Phelan. It's always McKenna and it's always Carrick.
Yeah.
You don't really. Phelan's took a total back seat over.
Yeah, it's almost
it's
like
like-
he's turned into a coach.
And it's
Yeah.
like, yo,
It's like
you're
he's
the
not there
experienced
anymore.
one out of the 4 of them. It's like
For in-game management,
you've literally seen this all. Like
Yeah,
there isn't
true.
any situation you probably
I'm
not
sure
seen.
Phelan coached Ollie.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
pretty sure
Yeah, he did.
he coached
He
him.
did.
So it's like you've seen it also. We spoke about this. Help.
Yeah.
Assist him. You can
But then-
clearly see help.
This is where it comes down for me to the people who could be helping and should be helping are on TV dissing.
Oh, your Scholes is
Yeah.
and Keane.
These, if these people have so much experience and so much to offer, like we're saying, reverting back to when we're saying, oh, Bayern Munich have got all of their formers, and you look at Van der Sar there, Van der Sar's done us a bigger favour than any of them have probably ever done.
Yes, that's
in
true.
how long?
Yep.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yep.
So this is what I'm trying to say by a lot of our ex-people are just on TV saying, oh, they should do this. No, you go there. You know what I mean? Go there and help him. You're quick to, when he's getting criticism on the media outlets, you're quick to say, oh, you know, yeah, he's my mate, I've got his number, you know, speak to him. No, you're not helping him, are you? You know what I mean? If that's your mate.
Like Rio always says that he'll always come out and defend and be like, yeah, Ollie's at the wheel when good results. So I'm like, help him. You're a world class. You was a world class defender.
Yeah.
Tell him stop playing out from the back all
Why
the
is
time.
why is it in any other footballing country, these players instantly go back into that system of football?
Yeah.
You might see him on TV and do a bit of, you know,
A little bit of punditry,
but
yeah.
in essence, they are
Yeah.
coaches. They become coaches. They become directors of football.
Because that's
they
what
become
Gerrard
this and
did
that.
for us.
Yeah.
He managed our youth team, and then what happened? Then he got the job offer at Rangers. Then what did he do? Oh, Liverpool, you're not showing Ryan Kent. All right, then send him on loan to Rangers.
You get what I'm
Ollie
saying?
Ajaria, okay, send him on loan to
Like
Rangers.
that's like a Liverpool feeder club, bro.
Yeah.
And see that just makes, that's so obvious and it makes sense. That helps everybody involved. It helps Gerrard, he's getting experience. It helps the lone players who are going out.
Helps
And,
Rangers.
yeah, and it helps Rangers as well. So it
You know what
helps
I'm
it
saying?
helps Liverpool
This,
if the players go back. You know,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. So I said, if it fails for Ollie, I still want mind him as a director of football.
he seems to pick well. I don't mind
He's
his
got that
transfers.
side.
He seems to pick well.
It's his tactics and how he coaches and whatever it is. This is the season for me. I want to see him move to the next level. This season he did his job.
Yeah.
Simple as. He
Yes.
got where we
His
needed
job.
to go.
He's
Yes.
got his
Job done. Okay, Ollie, here we go. This is the next step, son.
Now we go
This
again.
this is where you start getting judged. If you don't get Champions League, I expect you to be treated as every manager before you,
Yes.
and you're out the door.
Chop. And if you do finish top 4, it's like, all right, how do you do it? Have we accumulated more points are we playing better football? Have we won?
These-
Like, people forget, up until lockdown, United hadn't won 3 games in a row in the Premier League. And
Yep.
that has to improve. Game management has to improve. Player, how you manage the players has to
Squad.
improve. The squad is now better. Now you add Donny to that squad, you now have a better squad. Everybody's a year older. Your Maguires, your Wan-Bissakas, Greenwood's now
Brandon
in,
Williams.
Greenwood,
Martial,
Williams.
Rashford, your Brandon Williams. These players are now a year on, and even your senior players, they're now a year on. You're getting a fully fit
Exactly.
Pogba now. Hopefully Rashford will
This
get
is the
fit.
thing. He's
Like,
got
let's see.
everyone from the start of the season.
Yes.
He's not whereas
Yep.
like he discovered Greenwood halfway
Yeah.
through that season. You signed Fernandes halfway through.
Yep.
Pogba was injured, but then he came back, so
Yes.
it was a boost. And you're gonna have all these from the start now. My thing is, I think if we get Sancho, and if we basically get everything that he needs,
Yes.
I think he's doomed.
So do I.
No,
I ain't gonna lie.
honestly,
I think he's
the
doomed.
problem.
I think he's doomed regardless.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
gonna lie.
But I think if we get everything, if we complete the transfer window,
So
He's
say
got
for instance we get
no
centre back and
excuse.
a winger.
he's got no excuse.
That's
he
the
could
problem.
be, and he starts ollieing. He could be done by
He starts
Christmas.
ollieing.
He could be done by Christmas, you know, because the pressure is going to be too much.
Yeah.
If he starts doing 86-minute substitutes when we've got the people on the bench, do you know what I mean? No?
He starts
Or-
bringing on Donny van de Beek
Yeah.
at 87
yeah,
minutes.
if he starts doing all that
Go
late
change
stuff,
this game.
you know what I mean?
Thing is, the club at the moment are making signings and building a squad that I dare, and I don't want to say it, but
Say
another
it.
manager coming in is going to prosper.
Oh, I said
time from-
this last season.
I've said this.
If
months
Poch,
ago.
if
Yeah.
Poch came into this team right now, it'd be like, oh, different ball game.
Flying.
There's someone knows already right now. Every manager now who's available, up and coming, whoever may be good enough to come into that, looking at that team and going, I can start planning now.
Yes. You
That's
can't.
all I
and
want to say. You can start
I
planning.
That's what I
firmly
mean.
believe Poch and other managers are looking at it
Some
like
reason why.
this is an attractive proposition.
I would get more out of these players than what he is.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
you're
exactly what
looking
I'd be
at it.
looking at.
Yeah.
I'd probably get more out of these players than
You know
all he
what?
is.
You probably would.
Trust me, man,
I see you
because
manage one game and
people-
you're in game management. You did something. I'm like, okay.
People see with managers, yeah, they will do that naturally.
Yes.
Because people,
It's in
alright
their
then,
brain.
Yeah, it's in their brain. They'll
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
United, and there'll be people watching that last game, very last game, the Sevilla and going,
Sevilla.
why didn't you do that? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
There'll be other managers thinking, wait, why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that, or why has he played him there, or why has he not brought him on at this time?
Why did he
Because-
not take Rashford off when he's injured?
Because you know, like I even said, the whole thing. If you look at that match, I know I've said it before, but that match for me, it showed a difference in manager. Their manager, he's seen that his starting striker weren't doing well. His starting winger weren't doing well. He hooked him off at like 56 minutes.
Yeah.
He's literally said to them, "You've got 10 minutes at half time."
By the way, that was the greatest managerial comeback in history. To get sacked from Spain and Real Madrid in
Yep.
space of 5 months, then to come back, get Champions League already nailed down, and then win the Europa League.
There you go. And that's
Tell you
their
what,
trophy.
that's,
Do you get what I'm saying?
that's a manager right there.
Yes.
That's a man,
Yes.
and he's shown that. He's shown his credentials in that match. He literally, and then he's centre midfielder as well. So by 65 minutes, you've hooked 3 vital positions. He's centre mid. If you're telling me, centre mid, winger and striker aren't vital
Yeah,
to
of
you winning a
course.
football match. Do you get what I mean?
Extremely
And he's
vital,
hooked them all off by
But Bills-
65 because they're not doing well. That is a manager. And then
Bills-
that's where other players, sorry to cut you, other managers would have said, why has Ollie not done that? And even I even think their manager would have probably thought, we might do that, so I'm going to do mine.
Yes, yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
It's natural. Like you said, if you're a manager, it's natural. It's like us three here who doing this radio show. If we see someone else set up a radio show and it's not going well, we're going to be like, wow, why have they done it like that? Why did they call it this?
Yes.
Why do they have this segment? Not in a bad mind way, just in a natural way because it's something
Yes.
you do. Like boxers, how many times when this boxing match is on do they talk to previous boxers? They'd be like, he should have done this.
Yes.
He should have done that, etc. Go on.
No, but this is why Vils' point is absolutely spot on, because who did he hook off? Suso. What did Suso do in that game? Scored the equaliser.
There you go.
And he's still not doing it.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
because you're not doing it for the good of the squad, as a manager, you pull him off.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing what he has asked him specifically to do. And that's what managing comes down to.
Does it look like from the outside that he's a sentimental manager?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, he
what
is.
he questioned. From the outside, so a lot of the time it's because I look at it and there's still. I know we're red tinted in everything we see. I try to be as level with every single player. That's what I don't like, people making an excuse of why your favourite player didn't play bad. He just played bad.
He played
Admit
bad.
it.
And that's one thing I've always liked about you is the fact that even if you have your favourite shot, when I watch United stand or watch you on your own channel, you call it like me, right down the middle and very fair.
I was on with a City and a Chelsea fan the other day on their channel, and it was just like they were asking questions, and I hear it on the radio all the times. Martial is still not there for me. I'm like, what is it that everyone is seeing from the outside that I am not?
Yeah,
At the moment, I'm thinking, right, he's just scored 20-odd goals. I'd accept that
Martial,
every season.
that's what people are mistaking it is Martial from previous seasons you can question. But
It's
Martial from
like
this
they don't
season,
watch him this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
they
not
don't.
watched him.
It's like when
You can't question him this season.
It was some joker on Talksport who was
Jamie
talking
O'Hara.
about. Yeah, he was like.
He was on again tonight.
Vils has
Yeah,
got
on
the
again
clip
tonight.
ready.
Yeah, Martial is not good. His hold-up play is not good enough. That's probably
His
one of
hold-up play is the one thing that is
He's
changed dramatically this season.
but
When he said that, I said, you've not even watched him.
He's
Yeah.
not. He's
You've
not.
not
He's
watched
not
him.
watched him. He's just
You ain't
looked at stats.
Yeah.
And said that front three isn't going to win you the Premier League.
And that front three is that's the best part of our team.
Yeah.
It's the front three.
Yeah, but this is how
It's
crazy
the
it
highest
is.
scoring front three in the league.
Exactly, and this is the craziest thing for me is, so for Jamie O'Hara to turn around and say his hold-up play is not great. One game, I've watched a lot of United this season. One game, I can tell you why his hold-up play wasn't great. The first game after lockdown, which was Tottenham.
Yeah.
The
And that's
first
the game he
game.
probably watched because he used to play for Tottenham.
yeah.
That's the one game
And
he's
that's the
watched in
one
his
game that he's
career.
going off. Look at him throughout every other game.
This is what I mean. This is where these neutral pundits who come on the shows and that they don't see it. They don't watch every single. They can't.
Yeah, he
No.
They
can't.
can't physically watch every
It's
game.
impossible.
All they're seeing is Liverpool's front three stats. City going forward, De Bruyne are brilliant.
Match of the
It's
day
like
highlights.
someone said the other day, it's like without penalties, Bruno Fernandes is the argument with Bruno Fernandes did my tree in. What planet are you on? I seen a brilliant stat came out the other day for the whole season, and this is a whole season. He's only had half.
Yeah.
There's one man
Oh, I've seen
ahead
this.
of him, and that's without his penalties in terms of goal contribution. So every other midfielder in the league has had a full season. He's had one. There's one player who's ahead of him, and you all know who that is.
Yeah.
It's Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah,
There you go.
That people don't look at it. They listen to. I'm not going to slay him or Ricky. I love my guy Ricky, but they'll listen to what he says on Twitter, and they'll say he's giving the ball away this much. Simple pass. I said, Kevin De Bruyne gives the ball away 10 times in a game.
Yes, of course.
Because it fits their agenda. They listen to
Any
stuff
creative
and they
player
go with
gets the ball
stuff.
away.
Yes, and that's what it is agendas. Like I said, if one of my favorite players, like I'm a big fan of Martial, but if Martial has a bad game, I will say Martial has
Yeah,
had a
you
bad
do.
game.
Yeah.
If Martial missed chances like he did against Sevilla, he missed chances.
Poland.
Pogba has a bad game.
You've got to
Listen,
say
He
it.
has a bad game. Like I'm not gonna blindly defend my favorite players for the benefit of just my argument. Like
The biggest agenda in football is Firmino.
Go on.
Liverpool
Finish on this one.
Liverpool fans, I love him. I love everything
I
about
actually rate
him.
him.
What he brings to the team is different level. But Liverpool fans will not talk on the chances that he misses, the goals that he's not scoring that he should be scoring because of what he does. That is one of the biggest agendas in football because like you said, your front three outscored our front three. Imagine if Firmino was scoring. Firmino didn't score his first home goal until the goal at Chelsea. That's not good enough
Yeah, that's true.
for a league-winning front three.
Huh?
But Liverpool fans don't want to talk about that. And that's what I mean. Whereas you'll see Martial get criticism. How many goals he scored this season?
Yeah.
You'll see,
23 goals.
you'll see
23.
Rashford get criticism. How many goals has he scored this season?
22.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Mad.
it's crazy.
And they've had big spells out this season.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Not played
But
all the
Rashford,
games.
people don't realise that Rashford is a winger.
He is a winger.
22 goals for a winger.
He's a great, yeah. He's not a striker, but that's
And,
the
and
people's
he's
agenda
not
goal.
he's not even in a three up front either.
Exactly.
He's not in a three up front. He's actually playing on the wing.
Wing, yes.
He's
And cutting in.
hugging the touchline most
Yeah,
matches.
Like
Do
if
you
you
get
look
what
at his touch map, but yeah, that show has flown by as well. Yeah, series of shows flown by. Obviously, anytime we have a guest, the show just speed just quickens up as it is. It's conversation always bouncing around. Oh yeah, to everybody tuned in. So whether you're watching this live on YouTube or watching it back or listening via one of our audio platforms like DAB Radio. From a third eye view, we now are on social media. So our social media pages are up and running. So we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. It's all From a Third Eye View, and that's the number 3. So From a Third Eye View, make sure you go follow From a Third Eye View across all social media platforms. Adam, it's been great having you. Give out your socials so people know where they can find you.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
get me, as always, Mad Red United on YouTube, Adam Matic, Instagram and Twitter. You can't miss me on there.
There we go. That's excellent. But it's been great having you.
Brilliant. Thanks for having us on, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
anytime, and we're going to bring
Anytime.
you back as well. JV, give out your socials quickly.
JV8914 Twitter, Instagram J.V.89.
Stroke.
Ryan Wayman AWF on Twitter, Mr. Bush Show on Instagram, and obviously the Alicia Wayman Foundation.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. That's me, Flawless. Make sure you follow Pi Radio across all platforms as
Yeah,
well.
but it'll be in the link. And all
Yeah,
that.
that's what it is, at
man.
Pi Radio UK on both Twitter and Instagram. And we will be back next week discussing everything football from a third eye view every Monday, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Thank you very much for locking in.